G'day, citizens. Welcome to Inforunners. I'm freshly shaven Execute, joined by old man Hurston himself. How you doing, Algared?
I'm fairly well.
Where else?
For the sake of those of us in recording channel, share the screen.
Oh shit, sorry. My bad.
That's okay.
We're also joined by SA's here with us and Grim. How are you two gents doing? Oh shit. Freshly shaven Execute. I can
The
hear
voice
myself.
is in the void.
Yes. So how are you gents doing, Grim? And you Yanks?
Yeah,
how you doing?
doing good.
We haven't been called
I'm
that in a
doing
while.
good. Yeah, I'm doing good. It's you know, we're starting to get that IAE itch for 2025. So I'm doing good.
Oh, I just thought it was summer.
Yeah, he gets, I don't know, something happens to Grim's pants or in his pants during that time. He gets an itch, right?
It's that time of year. It's, you know, it's ship season. It's ship season.
Yeah.
Ship season.
It causes it to grow, and it's very uncomfortable down there. But yeah. Right. So you'll find this very interesting, Grim. Algared hasn't seen shit.
Yep.
Not a goddamn thing. He's had a really shitty week. He's had to redo marking and all this type of stuff for school. He was going on about it, and I was like, woof, that sounds pretty rough.
It was, but I'm going to cut in because on Twitch, Zodoza, welcome to Twitch as first-time chatter. And he says, I have switched over to Twitch. Oh, that must be Honey Springs Homestead 1411 from YouTube. Glad to have you on Twitch.
Yep.
Anyway, keep going.
A few faces there as well. Thank you for the subscription, Meltamar, at tier 1. Appreciate it, mate. Not required, but always appreciated.
Indeed.
So we need to bring Algared up to speed, essentially, Grim.
And I know, as you were saying, I know the schedule's come out, but I haven't really had a look at it.
Well,
I know other things have happened, but again,
well, I know
this week was.
I also know SA's missed a little bit of it. I went over it with him really briefly, but it'll probably be worthwhile to go over it with him as well as yourself.
Yeah.
And we'll get to see your thoughts, and Grim and I can kind of tell you where we're at and see where we're going. So where do you reckon we should start, Grim? I think we should. I'm thinking the trailer. Unless you think anything different.
I think the trailer's probably the best place to start. I mean, that's what first hit us. I guess it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday.
Yep. So I've been having some weird memory issues with this one. So if it does crash, I do apologize. But I've actually got it queued up in DaVinci Resolve. That allows me to, if I do it like this, I can actually play it backwards and forwards just by pressing a key. So it allows us to look at some really cool, intricate details. But for your benefit, Algared, I'm just going to hit play. There is no sound, so don't worry about that. So just feel free to talk. And
ideal.
You tell us, as you said, you tell us anything that comes out to you.
Oh, there's a Perseus. The Vandally things. Was that a shiv?
That wasn't the best thing on the screen at that point, though.
Oh, well, that was the one that stuck in my face.
I know. The shiv is pretty damn good.
The pilot shiv. All right, come on.
Yep.
Right. So that's it, by the way.
Yep. And I know that there's probably 6 ships in there, or all the ships we're getting.
Me and Grim went through a type what do you call it?
A frame by frame analysis.
Fine-tooth comb.
Fine-tooth comb. That's what I was trying to remember. I've only found 2 things that stand out to me, and one of them is on this screen, and it's there right now. And I'll give you a clue. There are 6 ships there, and it's one of them.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I can see a reclaimer. I can see what looks like either a 890 jump.
Yep.
It looks like I can see a freelancer, a 300-something series, some little bodily little fightery thing, plus the Perseus, I think.
It's a Carrick that you thought was a freelancer, but it's actually the little small thing.
Yep. I mean, I'm guessing that is the wolf. Does
it look like a Flappy Bird to you at all?
It does look a bit bird-like.
That's because it is. It's so what you can see in it though that's changed the way it is. It's not a fin on top and a fin on bottom. It's actually a fin completely down one side.
Okay.
And you know how you first said really early on, Drake would not do complicated? You were 100% correct, mate. It doesn't even rotate. What it does is it just folds the wings and the ship rotates like the Saulian.
Yeah.
So it's using the same kind of landing technique as the Saulian, essentially. It just rotates and then lands itself. So it's essentially almost like a box sitting on a full-size wing, and then it just rotates. And it's again, having the name the Clipper, I think that makes a lot of sense because it's just going to be this giant flying wing. Yeah. Now the other one that I did send a picture to you, Grim, but I didn't hear back from you yet, is actually a little bit more forward. That's all right. And it's this one right here on this screen. It's in the top in the middle, Algared. Can you tell me what ship that is?
Top middle.
Yeah, I saw this one. Yeah.
No, I can't.
We just it's a Guardian. But then someone pointed out to me the Guardian doesn't have a nose like that in the middle.
No.
So it really does look like a Guardian. It's got 4 wings in that. So what we're assuming it is, and this is from me after someone pointed out to me, is it's got very similar wings to the Fury LX. You know, those kind of folded dovetail triangle things it has on the front. I think that it's something similar to that, but on a nose. I think this is a racing variant of the Guardian. I could be completely off base, but it's definitely Mirai because of those round ball-like engines. And again, when you and I first looked at it, Grim, we went Guardian. But I can't dismiss that nose.
Yeah, that nose does. Yeah. It does give throwbacks to the Razor. It's kind of
below it as well.
Or the M50 in the front with those wings. So yeah, could be.
What about you, Grim?
And
what's that?
What do you think it could be? Do you think it could be a racer or off the mark?
I actually just think it's the Guardian. I don't think it's specifically the MX, only because when I zoomed in, I was able to get that shape profile.
I don't know if you've seen this tool. This idiot friend of mine makes it. I'm going to use it against him, as I always love to do.
Please do.
Yeah.
Because I don't know a Guardian with that type of nose shape.
But yeah, so if we actually literally pull out all 3 Guardians,
the Guardian. You see how the Guardian there on the middle one on the white parts there, how it kind of angles down. If you look at that at a certain angle, and I kind of move the ship around in 3D, and it might be able to do something I can do behind the scenes here. But if you do it at a very particular angle, it does take on the look of that silhouette in the trailer.
So I will give I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, right? But this is where is where you're literally going to be undone, right? You look at it from above like that, right?
Yeah.
Look at it above, and now I turn. Because I was the same. I agreed with you at the start, right? I've got to find this thing in order to do it. Now, if I turn it back on, none of the noses are almost as long as the arms.
But see, no. I can fight that because that's not the nose. That's the top and bottom parts of the nacelle of the wings.
It's literally coming out the middle of the ship.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it in 3D and I'll send you a picture of what I'm talking about.
You reckon that's side on, not top on?
It's sort of 3/4 angle on. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So
you're thinking it's more like what? More like this?
Yes, but imagine if you rotated it, another 15 degrees or whatever. Yep. But
my problem with
you know me. I'm happy to be wrong.
I still see that nose, and even as it's coming up there, I still see that
look at the nose. Look at the direction it's flying in, Grim. Like that don't add up to me, man.
That does not look like it's part of a nacelle. That looks like it's
see. So you see the 2 top pointies coming out the front there? That to me is the far port side nacelle, both the top and bottom wing
You're essentially saying the top of one nacelle and the bottom of the other is kind of almost slightly lined up. So it's like on a diagonal is what you're saying.
Yeah. That's what he's saying.
Essentially.
Anything's possible, I suppose, but
again, I wouldn't bet my house on it. Let's put it that way. I would not put my house on it.
As we usually say, CIG gives us enough rope.
To hang ourselves. But that was the only other one that kind of stood out to me. There was a few others that we had to go over that took us a while to diagnose. There was one here. Where was it? No, it's bear with me. Was this small one down here? It turns out that is a talon that you and I went over.
Oh, really? Okay.
Grim, yeah, because look, see the red light that flickers on the tail?
Oh, yeah.
Yep, see the red light?
Yep,
yeah.
Yep.
There were 2 other people that noticed these black blobs that I can't unsee. So there's a black... no, seriously, there are little tiny ships that move in there. I'm going to see... Hang on, I just don't have it. I'm not used to it on this monitor because I didn't... So there's one here. Right? See the black blob? So you can't actually tell what it is. So obviously that's probably not it. And then there's another black blob here that moves. You got to go backwards and forwards. See, there's one. And the other one is it's okay.
Because I love the wild speculation. I'm sending you 2 images that I just rendered out of 3D, and I think you'll see what I mean. One of them is just a black silhouette of the Fury with a black texture on it.
Okay, I've got to give you that one. That one that's pretty hard to dismiss.
And literally the other one is with the actual texture on it.
Yeah. That I have to give you. The black silhouette I have to give you. Hang on. Yeah, I think people will agree. He's right.
It's the weird angle plays with the eye.
Yeah. All right. I will concede that to you, sir. Well played.
That looks exactly like what we see.
Yeah. And if you go to the next image, it's with the texture on the exact same camera angle, and it magically works. You can see what there it is.
Yeah. I think he's got it. So I think we'll give him that one.
Yeah, you suck, Grim. What the fuck?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Bleed the
Grim, killer of dreams.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just take the rope, tie a few knots in it, slip it around X's head, yank it a few times.
So I've been backwards and forwards in that video, and I cannot find the salvation anywhere. If it is in it, it is very tiny. Yeah. And it's probably one of those blobs.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you and Algared probably know better than anybody, but we usually get like another little trailer or 2 throughout IAE, don't we? Like, there's more trailers that come, right? I know they do the initial, like, hey, IAE's about to come, but isn't there some during the event too, if I'm not mistaken?
They usually do, from memory, kind of the manufacturer's type blurb, or one for each ship.
That's true.
But that's not necessarily a generalized view that we like this one.
Well, considering that's all we got of the Clipper, and if that's what we think it is, me and Grim, we were talking about Grim, we're thinking it's like, what was it, 25, 35 meters, somewhere in there, as in width. So it's pretty much a medium. I think with the name Clipper, it's either going to be cargo or data running, seeing that seems to be the theme. There's a bit of data running coming in.
It's going to be one of those ships that is... because of the large wingspan, it's going to seem bigger than it actually is, sort of thing. So.
Well, that's one of the things that you and I were talking about too. Do you literally make it so that you've got to load the cargo in sideways when it's landed? Or do you literally just make it a data runner that can, you plug in some ports and you're done? So there's obviously some complexity there. And I know you say this a lot, Algared, keep it simple, stupid. So the KISS analogy. So I keep going with the data running one. It just makes so much sense to just remove that complexity.
The only thing that goes against that idea is if they don't bring data in, if they don't bring that kind of needing. But as I said in the last stream, we've effectively had data kind of missions already incorporated with the data pads and other stuff. So, go to a location and literally download the information and go. So we've kind of already got those data missions in. It's just upscaling it. So.
Yeah, it is. So someone said, Zelkonin said, Clipper reminds me of the Lambda. Well, the Lambda shuttle would probably be the Corsair, to be honest with you, with the 3 wings on the Corsair. This is only 2 wings. But it is again, if you see it the way the light hits and that, it's essentially going to have one sail kind of curved around it type of thing. I think it's going to be rather interesting.
And I think that's what's so exciting about this ship in particular, is that there's a lot of mystery with it even still, where like we don't really know the hull shape language. We don't know how the wings actuate. And from the silhouette, it still looks like it has a crazy landing gear or whatever. So there's still just a lot about this ship I'm really curious about.
Yep.
No, I'm guessing that was a sneak peek that you just flashed on the screen.
I
briefly,
did, but you should be being quiet because nothing's behind the scene. Why do you ruin my? No,
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
But I was going to say,
as he broadcast it to millions.
Yeah, I mean, what's the monthly report? That's what I'm looking for. Roadmap, kept down, Traveler's Guide. No, it must have gone off the page. Because there was one first that I wanted to show you. That's why. Oh, here we go. So this is the monthly report. So let's just bring everyone over.
Yeah.
So this
monthly report is always a really good place to go back. That always gives you the idea of where CIG are.
So I'm trying to show you them in order. So tell me about this, Algared. What do you notice in that image?
That's an Aurora.
And what else do you notice?
The big docking ring is still there.
Remove the Aurora. What do you see?
Not sure. Inside of the base, a big ship. Can't do any more than that because remember, I say
it's very
not big screen, but
oh, okay. It's very Chad-like.
Yes. Okay. The pad. Okay.
So it's inside the ironclad.
Okay.
Right. So that was the first one, and then the very next image is literally the ironclad. This one, Algared, me and Grim had a little bit of fun with. I can open it bigger for you if that helps. So that there you go. So this was the first sneak peek we got.
Yeah, and I did see this one.
Yep. So Grim and I basically had a look at. Well, I asked Grim to look at the thrusters, and you say what you found, Grim.
Well, the one interesting thing about Star Citizen ships is all the manufacturers kind of use different maneuvering thrusters designs pretty exclusively, and they get reused on their ship. So Crusader always uses the same kind of maneuvering thrusters, so on and so forth. And the maneuvering thruster we're seeing here is a 100% a Drake maneuvering thruster, like for sure. This exact thruster is on the Corsair, it's on the Cutter, it's on all the Drake ships. So yeah, there you go.
And then obviously the other sneak peek came today, and that really just put the nail in the coffin. So I don't know about you, Grim, but I start to think that this may be a part of the wing, and this is kind of where the body attaches. And then this is the body itself, which is a part of that box. Type of thing. So that's kind of where I'm at. Obviously we don't quite have the role nailed down, but as we've kind of said, it's cargo data running, something like that, because they've literally said data is cargo before. So that's kind of where we're at. It's just it's like I always keep coming back to what you say about Drake, Algared, keeping it simple. So I'm more on the data running train than I am on the cargo one, but I won't be surprised if it's cargo.
And it's a tough one because Drake had our first data runner, so with the Herald. So
yep, we've literally
that is clearly in their wheelhouse.
And
got him down there. Yep,
the little icon-y thing. And then you've also got Drake being into cargo with the Caterpillar, the Cutlass, even the Ironclad, and all the other ships. So it'd be nice to see them do more of that Inforunner running style stuff. But
it'll be interesting too. And Algared, you're a lore guy, so you may appreciate this. Just this insight, but like. It'll be interesting to. I'm imagining this is a new Drake ship in terms of lore, right? It's probably some sort of new Drake ship. They have that new CEO, etc. I'll be really curious to see if the role of this is positioned a little bit more into like the new Drake direction, which is this sort of power to the people. We're trying to reinforce the good guys, trying to get away from the old pirate stuff, So then the role is it like for example, if it was a straight combat ship, is that like a little too aggressive, or is it a ship that can do some good with just a bunch of guns on it? You know, so I'm just kind of curious on where they position this from like a Drake branding perspective.
The more now I've seen this giant solar sail, I think it kind of confirms what I've been saying all year. It's not a combat ship for me. Like it looks like a giant sail. And the name as well. Like I can't see a combat ship in a Clipper. I just can't.
Yeah. But the Clipper name really gave me a doubt. I originally, as you know, thought it was either I really thought it was either a heavy fighter or some sort of like Paladin Redeemer competitor from Drake, some sort of like gunship. But the Clipper name, it kind of settles that argument. I don't think it's that.
I'll be honest, Grim. The second we got the last sale with the 3 gunships, I had no doubt in a sense that would be a gunship. There's no way it was going to be another gunship in my opinion, just because we had so many.
I think it's a pattern going forward too. If you think about it, with no more concept sales now, essentially as gameplay comes out, you're going to see a bunch of ships come out with that gameplay. It just makes logical sense now.
Because that's where the money will be now. It's no longer the concept sale wooing us with what it could be. It's this is the gameplay. Here's the ship that does that gameplay. So
and we don't have a medium data runner. We've got the Herald, we've got the Mercury Star Runner, and the Hermes is sitting there as well. But we don't have a medium, and this would be the medium. And I think giving a ship that looks really cool because it lacks in some other areas, like that seems to be on par with the ones that we've already got.
Well,
you know,
we've got another example of that.
Hang on,
really cool.
Before you move off what I was trying to make my point on, the Herald, the MSR, the Apollo, they all have that look about them, right? We know that the Apollo was a really good silhouette. People really wanted other ships that looked like that. I think that's why they picked that. The way the Herald looks really unique. Remember the asymmetry it used to have, and the MSR was really popular. Same reason. So they've deliberately cooked cool-looking ships to kind of make up for a little bit of lack of function. I don't know if that's the way you feel, but that's how I feel.
But as I was saying, you also see that with the Sulian. The Sulian was very small cargo capacity, but it's got that cool flying dynamic. It's totally different. So it's got that cool, again, leveraging into the rule of cool type aesthetic.
So you were going to say something?
Well, I mean, I just don't think this is going to be a data runner. I think it's going to be a Clipper. I think it's going to be a merchant ship, only because, you know, I've never seen a manufacturer have 2 of one type of ship. So 2 data runners.
RSI have the Arasta and the Orion.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Okay.
And they'll have lots of fighters.
Well, okay, fighters and cargo ships are the exceptions to the rule. Let's be honest. Everybody has them.
He's got you there, bro. He's got you by the balls. Like, it's so good. So
what I will say, though,
look at him. He's got rid as fuck. And the party of 1 over there. Great.
To back up what S.A.'s saying, though, what I will say is I'm not, and I think this is just how I'm approaching ship releases right now with CIG working on so many big ships. The smaller ships, the mediums and this and that, I'm not expecting any like out of the box stuff right now. I'm expecting the lowest hanging fruit, which generally is cargo and combat. And to be totally honest with you, I'm expecting this to be a cargo ship. We'll, you know, maybe it'll be something a little bit more interesting, but that's where my expectation is at.
Let me just add this then. I just want to say this real quick. First time chatter, RSI is COA's baby though, so they're also the exception at the moment, but I don't think it'll be the last. When it comes to the cargo stuff, right? The thing that Algared and I haven't talked about yet, but I did talk about it with you, Grim. They're in the medium space. Drake are very heavy in cargo because they had the Cutlass Black and the Cutlass Blue, and now the pods have essentially been changed to cargo. That's 2 cargo ships in the Cutlass. So if you then bring in another medium that's just cargo, you see where I'm going? Like, it's really heavy in the cargo. Like, it's dead weight.
I mean,
but
But it could be a ship shop ship. I mean, we have two of them right now.
They
right?
wouldn't.
The Kraken.
They
the
wouldn't. They've literally
Why
said.
not?
They've literally said they would never sell ships without their gameplay now.
Yeah. But data running isn't in, and ship
that's
shops
what we're saying. But data running is literally in the files. It's coming.
Whereas, and look, as I agree, you could have a shop in that ship down the line. There could be a variant that had that shop in it, and it'll be cool.
Yeah.
But the gameplay for shops and player-owned shops and being able to put inventory in and all that stuff just isn't there. And that's the thing that says they won't do it.
Mm. And knowing the Hermes is there in the files as well, there's all this stuff about data running. We looked at how you could do a tier 0 implementation of it, and it's very, very easy. Even Algared came up with some cool ones. Like, we know you can, like, there's all the little cards that you can plug into things. So essentially like a USB stick, you've got the hard drives as well. The MSR's got hard drive things in it, as does the Herald. You could even do it wirelessly, like how you refill your ship could just be an upload and a download at the station.
I will say, to play devil's advocate, so one argument for data running not coming anytime in the short term, and one argument for it coming in the short term, is there were some interesting changes made to data running ships recently, with the Herald finally out of the blue randomly getting its ability to deploy its array. So that's one argument that's kind of interesting. One weird thing, though, is if data running is coming to the game, especially in the short term, in such a short term that they would be selling a data running ship at IAE, my God, you would have think they would have talked about data running at CitizenCon.
No, because they only had 2 hours.
Well, yeah, but they're talking about things like Rock Breaker, all this. You'd think they would have thrown in.
Dude, they literally spent 15 minutes talking about shit from last year that didn't get updated.
That's true.
And
they did half an hour of Levski, and it was the same old Levski from a year before or the multiple years before. It was a shit show. And you all know why, and I'm not going to call it out, but it's really fucking obvious whose fault it was. Sorry, I'm really mad about it, and I'm livid that we didn't get. I want my ship silhouette, Grim. I want my ship silhouettes, and I know you might
get it. You might get it at IAE. You could. It's possible.
I'm out for blood. I want ship silhouettes, and I know I'm not the only one. Trispone's the same. He did a big post on it. You've the same. Like, they get so much free content out of that video, and you've taken my year of speculation away. I've got nothing to feed on. I'm like a silhouetteless vampire.
Here's for silhouettes. Well, in a weird way, I'm kind of glad.
No tinfoil hats.
In a weird way, I'm kind of glad because you make me get twitches, because you keep pulling up the silhouettes and talking silhouettes, and I'm going,
I'll be right back.
I've talked about this. You've talked about this. Yep, we know. Yeah. You're preaching to the choir now, but yeah. But I like the silhouettes as well. I cannot lie.
Yeah. So I does that clear it up for you? Short essay. A little bit.
I mean, I hear where you're all coming from. I think that if anything, it's going to be a combination ship of data running and cargo, like the MSR, just a smaller version.
Yep. I wouldn't disagree on that, and I also kind of agree with Algared. We talked about this on the weekend, that it's probably going to have variants. Like every ship in that medium lineup has variants, and probably, like, for example, one of the things we talked about during the year was we were speculating on it being like it could land and be an extraction vehicle like Pioneer. Now that could still be a variant, because the main reason you might not be seeing said variants, right? And I'm just giving one example. There could be a combat one, there could be whatever, but the, you're not seeing it is because, again, it doesn't have that gameplay. Kind of like what happened with the Marquee Mark, right? So we haven't got that one because bounty hunting's not in. So a bounty hunting variant of this comes along, and then they release the Drake butt slapper or whatever they want to call it. I don't know. What would you call a bounty hunting variant of the Clipper? I've got no idea. The Clipper X or something? I got no idea.
All right, so quick question. With rotation idea that you guys had with the geometry of the ship turning entirely. I love that idea. The one thing is going to be the pilot seats, right, when you're landing. You're going to want to have orientation. So the question I have for you is, will it be a new? So we have several Drake ships that have moving seats in the front, right?
Yeah. So
will this be a rotational cockpit?
I reckon it'll just be a rotating seat like in the Reliant. I think the tech's already there. If you think about the Saulian has that kind of tech with the rotate, so you just essentially rotate and then you got to land it on your butt. I reckon it'll probably be the same thing. You'll essentially fly in with your wings folded. You'll just roll the ship and then land on one side. That's what I'm expecting. It won't be like a. I don't know. They could do it either way, couldn't they, Algared? There's two ways they could do it because we've seen it in different ways before, where the Reliant essentially rotates so you can land, but then you've got the Saulian where you manually have to fly yourself and land on your butt. So it could go both ways. But the point is there are examples of it being there in two different ways, so it's totally doable.
And one thing we know is the CIG do like to reuse techniques. So, and when I look at that, I have to look at, because I can't get past Drake being going complex, so they're going to be simple. So of those two, which is the simplest version of the ship to land? And for me, it's landing like a Saulian.
Yep.
I could be wrong.
I think it's going to land pretty traditional myself.
Well, as I said,
which means what?
well, again, if you look at the Reliant Tanner, you literally just make it so essentially it flies in sideways, the wings fold up, and then essentially as the wings fold up, the whole ship just rotates so you can land it vertically. So it literally can land like the Reliant Tanner as well.
It's based off being able to see the Clipper's canopy in the silhouette video, because you can see the canopy glass. It looks very vulture-like, unless they've changed it. It looks very vulture-like. I think what you are going to see is the only complicated animation transition is going to be the wings themselves, which is very similar to the Corsair. If you look at the Corsair, its animation on its wings is rather complex. But I think the whole, like the actual fuselage of the Clipper is going to kind of be like any normal Drake ship. It's just going to be right side up all the time, and it's going to be the wings that actuate and rotate around in crazy ways.
They just look like two pivoting things, essentially.
And even when you look at that sneak peek, it looked like a pivot, not a rotation.
I think you would agree the most complicated part of that ship is not the wings, it's the landing gear. The way that it has to kind of come out like that is going to be
like, and what I mean is and you could call it artificial like complication, but like if you look at the Corsair's wings, you would normally just say, oh, they just fold up. But if you actually really closely watch the animation, there's a lot of little weird things happening there. When the wings fold up, they actually push out, and there's other panels on the wings that animate up and over to allow the hydraulics to come out. So I think we're going to see something similar there with the wings.
And while I remind you, do you want to start the bot?
Oh shit!
I've just noticed there's half a dozen questions that have come through, and
I got distracted.
So we're going to spam. The bot's going to go through and pick up all those questions that we haven't got yet. So don't worry, we'll get
one thing I will point out to remind everybody too, if I may, is that the silhouettes. I had someone tell me the other day, they were kind of arguing with me about, I don't really see any like a lot of guns on this. And you have to remember that sometimes these silhouettes do not have all the parts and pieces on them. For example, the Ironclad silhouette doesn't even have the command module on it. So when they're putting those silhouettes together, there's sometimes just parts and pieces of those ships that just aren't ready for the silhouette. So I wouldn't read into too much of like what looks to be missing here. It just may not have been represented on the model at the time of the video.
Okay. All right.
Just a point to remember. So there could be armaments that we're not seeing that are on the wings, or
well, again,
could be a turret that we're not seeing. So
I'm not going to be able to bring it up to any level of detail on screen, right? But if I go back to DaVinci Resolve here, I'm not zoomed in yet. Oh wait, it is zoomed in. What the hell? How did it zoom in like that? Wait, you telling me I could have done it like this the whole time? Oh, that makes my life easier. No, it actually is frozen. Okay, cool. So wait, so now if I put it back in full screen, will it actually? Okay, now it'll work. But you can't see it here. But if you actually remember that picture I sent you yesterday, Grim, where I literally snippeted this and you could zoom in, you can actually see that there is like an engine gun slightly above the box and slightly below the box, so it's most likely got weapons or engines on the wings as well.
Yeah.
And if you do it yourself, I'll try and find the one that I sent you, Grim, but it is going to be you have to have a bit of a keen eye to see it.
One thing I will say, just from a military kind of like synergy perspective with like the U.S. Navy, I do love that some of these Drake ships are getting like actuated wings that can collapse or like fold in or something like that, because that's going to be really nice on the Kraken. It's going to be really nice on the Kraken. And I would love if like even like some small Drake fighters like the Buccaneer or something, where their wings would maybe like fold in or retract or something.
So you can kind of see it mostly there on the bottom. See that one there, the little nub that sticks out, and you can kind of see it sticks out on that side. So if you have a look, you can kind of see there's a line there and a line there, and that's most likely engines or guns. Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm expecting.
I think we can agree that the nose of the ship is probably longer than what we were expecting from the silhouette. From the silhouette, I was thinking a much stubbier like ship. Think cutter, but with big wings on it. You know.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be the closest thing to a solar sail that we've got in the game.
Now going on, picking up SO's point about data / or cargo.
Yeah.
Given the Reliant is a big wing, and it does cargo, and a small amount of cargo, it could do that. The Sen, I think, being a science vessel, I could see that also getting co-opted to do data.
Yep. Yeah.
Down the line. So data and cargo. So it could. I'm not going to discount it, but I think, as you said, just making it straight data would be simpler.
Yeah.
Well, we have two.
Just because we've got the two other cargo ships in the Cutlass and the Cutlass Blue. That's my.
Yeah.
How would you feel as a Cutlass owner if they brought out another medium cargo ship from Drake? You know, it really is stumping where you're eating, sort of thing.
Is it a medium ship, or is it really a small ship masquerading as a medium ship? If that makes sense.
I think it is very clearly a medium, based on the things that I've looked at. The stuff. Well, again, I'll do it in the very.
Even if you look at that silhouette with the size of the person next to it for scale, I tend to think it's medium, but I'm just throwing it out there that it's actually really a small ship in terms of what it does, even though it's big.
Yeah, I don't think it is, because
Algared, are you saying? Sorry, go ahead.
So if you look at the Corsair here, it shares really similar shape bondage language to the front half of the Corsair. Yep. So if you kind of cut the Corsair in half, this is at 52 meters, you're looking around 25 meters. Yep. So one of the things Grim and I were talking about yesterday is if you could kit bash this, just cut the middle out and essentially put this in where the wings are. That's kind of what I'm roughly. Grim, would you agree with me on that, or roughly what to expect?
I'd agree with you. And the way I've been thinking about the Clipper, though, if it is a cargo ship, I've been thinking less about it in terms of scale and more in terms of cargo capacity, which we use if you look at the Drake lineup, the Cutlass Black, and we talked a little bit about this the other day, Execute, the Cutlass Black is 46 SCU cargo, the Corsair is 72, and then you have this massive jump from 72 SCU in the Corsair to 576 in the Cat. There's a lot of real estate in there.
And that's why I'm bringing this up, because that's where we were going. So again,
in many ways, this could be like a competitor to like the Hull B or something. You know, we don't have the Hull B yet, but you get what I'm saying.
I brought up things like the Zeus CL, the Freelancer Max, and stuff like that. So that's where I'd start to go with this. You know, the Raft and stuff like that. So if it is cargo, it's Drake's version of extra cargo. So that's kind of where I'd go with it.
Yeah.
So
and even from Caterpillar to Ironclad, we have a giant gulf as well. Now, I don't think they're going to try to fit something in between there, but it's a pretty big jump going from 576 in the Cat to 1536 in the Ironclad. You know what I mean? There's some big cargo jumps there.
Yeah, Drake's really changed as a manufacturer, and I think that's kind of why they brought Gray's Market along, because it was this low budget combat thing or piracy for a long time, and that I can see Grey's taking that now, where what they've really become is more like a low budget, like what do you call it, like a no frills. So just cheap, and they've got a bit of everything now. You know, Herald, like all these different professions in there.
Like I say, I keep calling them the blue collar manufacturer. You know.
Yeah, I got the feeling. I got the feeling that Drake, even though they kind of had that piratey type feel, they always were going for that blue collar worker out in the, you know, the brown shirts out on the fringes with their little firefly holding it together. You know, that type of manufacturer existence life. Whereas Grey's it has really pulled into that piratey rough and tumble feel.
Yeah. And with ship designs like the Clipper, it almost feels like Drake is leaning that other direction where they're like fully okay with not being, you know, not having any UEE Navy contracts, and they're just like, we're going to do everything our way. Because there was a time period where I was like, you know, it'd be cool if Drake did another ship that really did try to get a contract, a military contract associated with it, like still keep trying to crack that nut. There was a while where I thought that'd be cool, but now I feel like Drake just needs to lean into their own thing, do it their own way, and that'll just sort of be their signature. You know what I mean? Which is, I think, what CIG's doing. So
the other thing to remember is, in law, Drake is a very, very young company.
Right.
You know, so to say, oh, they haven't got a contract, woe is Drake, but you know, very young company. So they haven't really gone outside of the box. It's still very simple in terms of what they do. So it's like trying to argue, you know, why doesn't Kruger?
Wouldn't you make it for the most obscure thing though? Like, so they're trying to get this military contract, and you know, they basically off the cuff they make like a broom and a bucket, and the military's like, this is the best broom and bucket that's ever been made. We're gonna get it as a military. So they just like that's not what they wanted, but that's what they got. So they get their first one, and it's just like the worst. You know, that's how I would do it. But you know, I'm a bit of a troll, but that's how I think that'd be funny. It is.
Gents, I do have to run, unfortunately, but I will try to ping back in later.
All right, see you, buddy.
Thanks for having me on.
All right,
Execute. I say, take it easy, guys. Later.
I think we'll go into see you, Grim. But since Grim's heading off, do you want to tell us your thoughts on the Perseus essay? Would that is something?
God. And Bops, you should pop in if you're free.
I did tell him. I literally told him that.
I know.
Yeah,
I did see that. I'm just verbalizing it as well.
Yep.
Yeah, no, my thoughts on the Perseus are the same as the Polaris, which is, they done fucked up AA run. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. Like the outside of it. So first of all, if you look at this image, they've done a huge amount of work on the design of the ship. This is a huge advancement for RSI. I think it'll go retroactive to like affect the Polaris.
Just to cut in this, and sorry, SA, but
go for it.
Do I notice that it's missing the bottom big turret?
No, it's there. It's there.
It's there. It's in the back.
Let me show you the most hilarious thing in this trailer, Algared. Just give me a minute. I'm going forward.
I'm sorry to cut you in off SA.
So you'll see here is that in his atmosphere, all the turrets, including the PDCs, are backwards.
Which makes sense. Yeah. Like, the funny thing to me is, like, from a heat perspective, this actually makes sense. Yeah.
The PDCs are all backwards. No, but that's not. No, it's doing that because it's going in warp or whatever. That's what normally happens. But yeah. The turret's definitely there. The other thing that I did want to point out to you that you might not have seen, Grim spotted this and pointed it out to me, but if I go backwards and forwards here, Algared, can you see either side of the docking port there? There are vertical windows either side of the docking port, which is a bit weird, but there are vertical windows.
Yeah, you can kind of see right through the ship.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful design in its original simplicity when it had the large armor panels. I mean, you know what I think of this X. It's like I miss the large, bulky armor feel of it, which it lost with doing the greebling. I mean, they tried to make it more elaborate in
you, me, and Grim are all on the same page, right? I'm not usually one that really complains about the looks of ships, but I'm very disappointed by how this ship has turned out, right? I didn't mind it so much on the Polaris because it wasn't that different, but here I think it is almost criminal. Considering, and I can go back to the Paladin here and use this as an example of how armored this came out. How this feels inside is amazing. It has set the standard for military ships for me. I love this ship. I didn't buy it at concept. I bought a CCU, and then as time went on and I saw the pictures coming out, I connected that chain before it even came out. And then when it released, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yep. All right, so to both of you, before the Polaris, or before we saw the Perseus, excuse me, in lore and in your vision of what a military ship, a heavily armored military ship, what was the thing you would envision as the most heavily armored military ship?
I'll show you a picture, but Algared, you go first.
What did I envisage as a heavily armored warship?
The most heavily armored military ship, the biggest tank in the military.
I'd get Bismarck.
This was mine.
Bismarck and Torpedoes, big battleships, massive guns, 14-inch guns or whatever it was.
Yeah. And I think the Perseus was this. I think this is what it's intended to be. Like this old hulking beast that could just take shot after shot. And
I would say it's more like what it's looking for. And that would fit in with what they did say originally, that it's the river, like the Vietnam River.
That's kind of
ship.
So there's a movie called Sahara, and in that movie, it's got a few different actors, and I can't remember if McConaughey's in it, I think. And they go looking for this ironclad, and it turns out to be in the Sahara. But this ironclad is just like essentially a floating. It's the closest. I think Paul said it best. It's the closest thing they ever got to steampunk. Right? Or was that Bops that said that? But you get my point, right? Like, it's just this lungering hulk of a ship. And that's what I saw the Perseus. As soon as I saw the Perseus, I thought of that movie, The Sahara. And
the Merrimack.
You know, and you can see there's lots of different designs here of ironclads over the years. But you go back to that original RSI Perseus.
I can't see who said it in Twitch, but somebody said the Merrimack, and they're 100% right. Like this old Civil War ship.
Yeah. So if you think we're bitching, yeah, we are bitching a bit. But again, you look at that, and then you look at the. I have to go back here in the trailer so I can.
And by the way, this is not a complaint about if the ship is well made. Like, and to
no,
anybody
I'm sure it's well
who's
made.
Watching, it looks good for the work that you did in the ship. Looks amazing.
Yeah.
The design of the ship looks amazing, but it's not the original Perseus that I feel like we were sold.
It's not aggressive enough. This was aggressive and metallic and like big metal plates, and it doesn't have the metal plates. It's just greebled shit. Looks like a plastic toy. This looks like a metal blade that flies through space, or a shark tooth. What was the line they used about it when it came out? Shark-like. There was something they used about sharks. I can't remember what the line was. Do you guys remember?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, sorry.
By the way,
I remember they said something, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry,
I love like when you look at this flyby in the trailer, the exterior looks amazing. It's just not the same ship. Especially like when you showed me the see-through glass, I was like, yeah, that's not the same ship. This is an old hulking beast, or at least it should be.
The only one that I think's retained that heaviness is these turrets, right? They have the same Abrams head-looking head that the ones in the concept have, but the body of the ship is similar. They've added these weak points like the glass see-through parts, and this air intake wasn't there either. So yes, they've done some beautification to it, but it just doesn't have like. That is not as aggressive as that, and you know, I was watching Bops, or I was on with Bops a day. I think just some of the lines have changed. I'm going to reserve my judgment to actually get my hands on it fully about the size and stuff. But I know Grim said he had some sources that were talking to him that say that it's possibly grown up by 25 meters, which means it's gone from 100 to 125, which puts it 1 meter behind the Carrack, and it's now bigger than a Hammerhead. If that is true, don't quote me on that. But if that's true, it is now the second biggest large we can get.
Well, the turrets, the weapons look like size 8s.
They do seem to have grown. The other interesting thing that was not in the concept that I did point out to you, SA, but you'll notice here, Algared, it's got Gatlings on it. Yeah, so
anti-fighter, yeah.
Like and it was SA that pointed out that's what the Javelin has. The Javelin has 4 guns on it, so they're kind of like a modified Javelin turret. You'll also notice that it's got extra PDCs. It did not have these 2 small, because obviously there's one on the other side. But it's still got the big ones down there as well. So yeah.
So the PDC choice to me seems interesting because it implies they tested it against fighters and needed more firepower to protect it.
Yeah.
Funny you mentioned that. There's a post that Grim sent me that I had a really good chuckle at, and it was almost like they were self-reporting. I'm gonna have to find it real quick, but I'll summarize it. But basically, one of the QA members. Hang on, Grim's messaging me. But it was this here. Thanks, bud, but I have to run. I'll try and come back. All right, cool. So this is the post. I'm just going to go over it to it if it's loaded. And this guy from QA, and I'm not trying to pick on Raven, right? But he basically goes, "Oh, we tried something different when we were testing the Perseus. We got everyone in it, and we went around and we tried in all these different ways, like how players would actually use it." And the first thought both I and Grim had was, so you didn't do this with all the other large capital ships that you have? Like, isn't that like how you test a big ship? Like, I was like...
Well, that's because I didn't have enough QA testers to put everyone into man every position,
I love that we played in it like players would play. It's like you are players.
Yeah.
Like, it was... So yeah, but no offense, Raven. Big self-report there, but yeah, you should have been doing this all the way along. And I can at least say I am now happy that it looks like you'll continue to do that. I just assumed you were doing that from the get-go. It seemed obvious to me. Yeah. Right, apparently.
Thanks, Pops.
Yeah. All right. Cool. But yeah, so you can read that post yourself. It's a bit lengthy, but that's the summary of it. That they went into some rigorous testing in regards to that. So yeah. Is there anything else you want to go on the Perseus? Is there anything else you want to go over on the Perseus essay?
Yeah, that last thing is like I want to reiterate. I already said this, but like, look, the design as it ended up, it's not what we were told we were going to get, but like it is really well done, CIG. So I appreciate the effort you put into like all the little details. I think RSI is becoming less of what RSI originally was, where like, and I think the Polaris was really the point where I had a Polaris, I melted it because I didn't love the freaking plants and the triangular hallways and the too clean of spaces. I wanted the original Constellation concept of what RSI was, which is we are the not cheap Drake, but the utilitarian spacecraft that does what it needs to do, the best one that you can get to do what it needs to do, but no frills. And I feel like now it's just...
I think this is fixable, much like I think some of the Polaris stuff has been updated. And I will also add this. In the last time, I got in the Polaris yesterday, and they now have blue and orange lines at the back when you walk along. So it tells you which side of the ship you're on straight away. Oh, I'm on the blue side, so I'm on the right-hand side of the ship, or I'm on the left, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah,
and they've got
report. Yeah.
So they've actually started to go back and do things to that, and I hope that's carried over to this. But the point I'm trying to make, I don't think this is an unfixable thing. I think this is just to redo the texture job. I think you can redo that texture, make it look like metal plates, right? And it's like I said, you know, I said the other week, Algared, my biggest fear about them was essentially taking the Zeus shit and just plastering it everywhere on the inside. I feel that's what they've done here. They've taken the shit that was on the Polaris and just done all the outside of the Perseus. It's the same shit, right? So they found one good thing and they're going to use it until it burns out. And I don't want that.
And that unfortunately doesn't work if you've got a ship that's supposed to be totally different.
Yeah.
Now, I get that, to me, this is supposed to be, if I remember correctly, the Perseus was your heavy Vietnam era riverboats, the ones that would go down and smash the crap out of places. That was that type of boat. Not quite your ironclad from the Civil War and the 1860s and 1890s, but certainly it does carry along that feel of that heavy armor.
So I did say this to Grim yesterday. I think I said it to you yesterday, SA. I said there will be people that prefer this over the concept, and there is literally someone in chat, not to call you out, Lima, but 28 Lima says, I think the exterior actually looks better than the concept. So there are going to be people that love it, right? Yeah. I did say
it's a beautiful exterior. It's just like it doesn't look. Remember they said like it had less shields, more armor because it's an older vessel.
Yeah,
it looks now like that's changed.
Yeah, it's meant to be.
If you look at the turret,
lots of armor.
Yeah, it was meant to be a big armored hulking thing, like in the concept, right? Like it was meant to be that, and it's just not that.
Well,
look
at the turret though. The turret still looks. Well, I mean, actually, that looks even more big and hulking, but. The turret on the current design looks like it's actually tougher than the skin of the vehicle, in my opinion.
Well, the when you turn on, when I turn the this back on, it's because of the angles that they've got on it. It almost looks like a chipped knife, right? Like it's metallic-y, triangle-y looking thing now all the way along. Where before it was this smooth, sharp kind of blade look, and it's just because of the jaggedness of adding all these triangles to it, it just doesn't have that bladed smoothness anymore. It looked like it literally looked like a flying knife or spear or something as it went through, and that's what made it look so cool. And it's lost that aggressive look, and that's what disappoints me. I love the aggressiveness of it, and now I'm like, put it this way: if I don't like the function, this is gone for me. I'm gonna tell you that right now. If the function doesn't carry through and it's a little I'll just upgrade it into something else. It'll be totally gone for me.
All that being said, my final statement on this is that CIG did an amazing job. It's a beautiful ship.
Yep.
It just doesn't look like the original concept, but it is a beautiful ship. It's way better. At least the exterior is far better than where the Polaris ended up at its current state. So good job.
Yep.
I like a couple of things I like. One is the large man turrets now have the coaxials on top, the Gatlings, and I think that adds more gameplay for the pilot of those turrets. You've actually got the ability to swap between taking on capital ships or taking on fighters. Yeah. That is a huge
point.
A huge point that actually makes that turret gunner useful all the time, because this is a combat ship, right?
Remember the rotational speed though of the turret too. It's not going to be as easy, but keep going.
But so
gives it a chance.
The fact that you've got the turrets that can take on fighters as well. So it's a bit like the as you said, the javelin. Whether that means if you're using the smaller guns, whether that increases the turret speed, or whether when using the big guns, who knows?
Bops actually still thinks he can take one of these on solo.
Well,
fully crewed, he thinks he can take it down. We'll see, huh? We'll see. The challenge been thrown down.
I don't think
there's going to have to be a cost there if he loses. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know. We'll figure something out. Hot Wings challenge or something like that on stream.
I couldn't see that. Taking out one solo solo crewed. I could see that fairly easily. But
fully crewed,
a fully crewed one.
We'll see. With the number of PDCs now, I reckon it'll be.
I've got to go on what CIG have always said in terms of the balancing in terms of multi-crew versus single ships, and if you've got a fully crewed multi-crew ship, I don't see a single pilot taking it and a single crewed ship. But
so this is what I'm going to show you guys now is just to kind of reinforce my point. I'm going to try to say about the triangles and stuff. So see how triangular this is here, and imagine how messy this is going to look when you put this skin on it.
Yep.
All I'm going to say, it's going to look to me. I just cut, and Grim's the one that pointed this out to me. So I'm not taking credit. I'm giving him his credit. But you put that in on there, and it's going to make it look at even more triangly.
Now, in fairness also to the people in chat who are saying they preferred the look of this to the original.
That's awesome.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's great. But the point, certainly from my point of view, the thing that is really key is this is supposed to be a heavily armoured ship, and it doesn't look heavily armoured. It looks like it would be heavily shielded, but not heavily armoured. And that's
good point.
That's where I kind of wince a little. The look, the aesthetic doesn't say heavy armor. It says heavy shielded. And
one thing I will
that's a perfect way to phrase it, Algared.
One thing I will say is some of these lines are actually in the images. I'm trying to zoom in real quick if I can, but it's
you can actually see the triangles there.
You can see the little zigzags along the bottom of the thruster here, and you can also see it along the thruster here. It's just that they changed it slightly to put the PDC in.
Yeah, they've added the PDC in front of that thruster. So, yeah, maybe it's just that angle.
Could be the lighting. It is in a fairly dark area. We don't really see it in a well-lit area. Let's be honest, it's in the sunset of Horizon. It's flying through fire and atmosphere. It's through around Seraphim. So it could be a whole bunch of things. So I'm going to reserve judgment. But as I'm seeing it right here, it doesn't bode well. And usually, with all the things that we've seen along the way, you think about all the experiences we've had. If it's seeing it like this, it quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, it usually is a duck. And that's what I'm trying to say. I just don't see this fixing itself for me. I think it was my biggest fear. And I pointed this out to you. I remember when that image dropped in the sneak peek, the one where it was kind of like behind the cockpit and you could kind of see the turret at the front. I pointed out to you then, didn't I? I said, I am worried. It
doesn't look,
it
doesn't look armored. It looks greebled. And and I'm not going to say it needs to look tarnished. Someone in Jared Tigerland said, so it needs a more tarnished look. No, I don't think it needs a more tarnished look. It needs
simplified in a way. Like if we go back,
it needs that sense of chunk.
We go back to the original concept, right? And I can probably
that's a Tiger tank.
It's essentially it's almost simplified. It's just these large metal plates, and if you go and scroll down, if you slide down some of these images and see here, look, these giant simplified metal plates, and it looks like metal. It looks like the side of an Abrams tank or an ironclad. That doesn't. It looks like a freaking mess.
And if you go back to that
one, it looks like the new RSI.
Hang on, it rolled on me, son of a bitch.
Yep. If you look at that one, on that wing, you can almost see you've got the wing and then you've got this kind of like inch chunky metal plate on top. But it gives that sense and feel of armor and imperviousness to ballistics and other stuff.
There's places they've tried to do it though, right? Let's give them a bit of credit here. Like you can see how it's almost got this chunky overlap here on the turret. I just realized my mouse pointer's not there. And there are places where it does it, like on the side here. You kind of can't see it very well in the dark. But again, then you get onto the actual plate itself and it's just covered in greebly shit. It doesn't need to be covered. Let it be plain. Let it not come out in normal maps. Let it come out in the texture itself. Show me the texture of metal. And I'm telling you, there are hundreds of really good textures out there of metal surfaces. Imagine if this had been like a, you know how you have like when someone's got a grinder and they've grinded over the metal surface.
Yeah.
Like that metal fit, that could have looked absolutely sick. Like and you think about like, well, you tell me, Algared, you're the ship buff here, right? Back when they did armor in World War II, a lot of them were giant plates that were easily pulled off and put back on, and they just riveted it back on, wasn't it? Isn't that how it was from memory?
There were elements where they did. I was watching a tank restoration video the other day. It was a grant, and they were talking about.
Yes,
one they were redoing in Australia.
Sorry, Bobs. Yes, that's what we were saying. If you want to come on, Bobs, just come in to the voice channel. You should have access to come straight in.
Yep, we've invited you twice.
Yeah, and if you haven't,
let us know and we'll fix it up for you.
Lemming's in here. Lemmings will keep an eye on the support channel. You should be able to get into the channel above if you can't into this one. He'll drag you in. Thanks, Lemming.
But if you look at dang, what was I saying?
You're saying what a great person I was, how you couldn't live without
certainly
me.
wasn't saying that.
What you were saying was like strapping steel onto battleships.
Yeah, okay.
And how great Lemming was, and what a great.
Yeah, Lemming is great.
Yeah.
Don't need to say that. Lemming is great. Lemming is awesome. It's just you that we all dispute as to whether you're
right.
There's no dispute.
Right. Yeah. And they call me the evil one. All right, keep going.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But I was watching the tank restoration vid, and they were looking at a grant, and the Australian grant. I was saying, oh yeah, in Australia we put this bit on, this with this extra armor, and we bolted it on, we welded it on, we did this. The Americans didn't do it, but we did, and it was going through all these bits that the Australians actually did to modify the Grant tanks. And so they did add bits and bits and pieces depending on the theatre, depending on the purpose, depending on even the country. So it'd be the type of thing you'd like to see on an old design ship that was chunky and could take a beating. And remember, this is a ship that goes back to the Tavaran War when the UE didn't have shields. They relied on armour for their protection. And this is a ship that had been updated, was in the thing, and Bishop says, yeah, I want more of him. Make it again.
Long story short, I don't think it's not fixable, put it that way. I think it's texture fixable, basically.
So real question about design.
In the day ocean.
Design in the game. I just have a quick question for you guys. So to me, it looks like they took the design language for the new RSI larger ships, the Polaris, threw it onto this, when this should really be more of a precursor to Anvil. Like this is what Anvil became, or what tried to advance.
I thought so as well, but if you actually listen to Astro, because it was like what Algared was saying there, it essentially has come back and been retrofitted and upgraded and put back into production. They've essentially updated everything, right? So I can see why it would look more like a Polaris. I could see why it looks more like a Zeus. But again, the thing I can't get away from is it's heavily armored. And that's the part where I'm disagreeing.
And if it's not heavily armored, it's not what Bishop's asked for. In which case, it's a piece of crap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So is it what Bishop asked for? A heavily armored ship with this, that's been modernized, that's been updated and getting better stuff? Or is it a brand new ship? So and if it's not what Bishop's after, then what's the point of it?
Cable X in Twitch is just telling me I'm Batman and that you're Alfred. Sort of point that out. If you're Alfred, I have to be Batman.
No.
That's how it works, right? If you're Alfred, I'm Batman.
Does that mean I get to be
Batman of the
Iceman?
Lego movies?
I don't know. No, you're probably Superman, Bobs. Nice to see you, Bobs. How you doing?
Let's go. I'm good.
Spider-Man, maybe.
If you want.
Hey, I was listening. So I've been listening all morning. And what this sounds like, it's real simple. Is that I'm sure you guys know Top Gear, and Jeremy Clarkson, the wonderful orangutan from England. There's this very real clip of him when he was still in Top Gear, where he's looking at, I think it's some kind of Golf and some kind of like Mercedes hatchback, and he's going, "This is amazing, but I like this." Right? He's got these two Golfs, or these two hatches that he's in love with, but he just likes one a bit more. And I think that's what we've got here with this Perseus, where this new look, if we're completely honest, it looks fine. If there was if we'd never seen the previous Perseus and this had come out, everyone would be going, "This is an amazing look. This is the best looking ship that's ever been released." But we've got that premise of the previous one, and we're going, "But I like this. This is what I like. This is what I paid for." So it's not that this is bad, and I think I've heard lots of people, including myself, talk about it, and maybe sound more negative than we are. I think it's less negativity and more just a bit of disappointment that we didn't get that like original, beautiful, sleek spearhead.
So I have something to add. Let's take what Bob's just said and take it to the next level. Let's say that they come out with an alternative skin on this, which actually changes the way that the outside looks. Is that enough for y'all to like it again?
How pissed would you be if they paywalled the armored look? You would be mad as fuck.
Look, for me, the look that we've got, it looks great. But to me, it does not look like armor. It does not look like it's heavily armored, and I think that to me is the thing that I suppose grinds my gears a bit. It's not that it doesn't look great; it does look awesome. It looks fantastic, but everything we've heard about this ship up until now is it is heavily armored. Look at every other heavily armored ship in the game.
Yeah, it's not like what happened with the Redeemer, for example. Remember how the Redeemer kind of went to the Paladin and you lost what the original Redeemer was, and then they fixed that, right? This is like you could literally put it under the, like, it changed in development, but again, it was sold as this armored, like back in the day, this thing didn't even have shields, right? Like in their lore, they didn't have shields; they were just armored, right? And it just doesn't have that look. And I know you can kind of say it's been updated, so now it's got shields, but I brought it based on its look. And this is the funny thing: CIG, John and Ben said that to you and me, that most people buy ships on the way they look. I brought this on the way it looked. A lot of people brought this on the way it looked, and it doesn't look the way it did in the country.
Champion of a Grail in YouTube makes a good point. He apologises for his caps, but I'm glad this bit is in caps because it makes it easy for me to read. But it looks like what it would be underneath the armour.
True. That's a really good point. I like that.
I've got no problem. I've got no problem with this ship looking like it does. If it is fully armoured, it just doesn't look armoured, and that's where I, but anyway, that's my
that's a good way of putting it. Piss Poor Pete said, so it's like when they just put the cool armor on the Ares Inferno and not the Ion. Feels bad, man. That's it. I think that's the epitome of it. I want my Inferno, not the Ion. That's what we tell them when they ask.
But yeah, to me it just doesn't.
So are you telling me we're getting a
might still be armored, but it doesn't feel
beam Perseus soon?
Man, I don't know.
Size 8 beam Perseus with sweet Ares armor on it.
I don't know, but Wax was saying his boys will take you on in your bet. By the way,
let me talk about that because I was going to bring it up, but I didn't want to.
Here we go. Backpedaling.
First of all, I just want to say that I will smash Wax into the dirt any day of the week. Come on, bring it. But the reason that a fighter will outperform it, it's pretty simple. It's because this has size 8s, which are the only things that have any reach at all, right? So the only thing that can reach out are going to be these slow-moving, big size 8 cannons. Then the rest of it are PDCs or little tiny size 3s.
He's forgot one thing. But keep going.
Okay. Oh, and torps. It's got lots and lots of torps. Yeah. But torps have a long range, right? So they have very, very long range. So if you've got something that has repeaters on it, torps aren't a problem because they move so slow you can shoot them down. And if I've got something that has guns that outrange size 3 guns, then I can harass this thing without it ever laying a finger on me. As long as I'm moving in circle strafing at a distance of over 1,500 to 1,800 meters in a small target, those size 8s aren't going to connect. It's just how the flight model works. You can argue, but that's just how the flight model works. If I'm over 1,500, you won't hit me with a size 8. You won't if I'm moving, right? So it can't reach out to me with the size 8s. If I'm over 18, it can't reach out to me with CF repeaters, which are the longest range size 3 weapons.
I don't know.
Right? So,
you look underage to me personally, but
But my point is that a single good fighter will really, really harry this thing. It'll need to have big guns, so you'll need something like a Guardian with two size 5s or something like this, and a Guardian can do it. Guardian's downstrafe is more than enough to dodge anything this ship fires at it. You're not going to be able to do it. You probably could do it with an arrow or something like this, but it's going to take a long fucking time because of the enormous shields on this ship, right? So, what I'm saying is, if you can,
Algared.
Yeah.
And I counter you with flak ammo.
Oh, that would be sweet.
Size
I hope
8
that's flak ammo. That would be awesome. Yeah, that would change everything. But my last thing to my point
and what about
is that I can kill a hammerhead fully manned with size 4 repeaters, fully manned. I can kill that solo. This is going to be a piece of cake.
What about armor when that comes in properly? Because they've stated things in the past too. Like
we're not there yet, right?
Well, we're not there yet. We're not there yet, right? We don't know. And again, you and I talked about this. It is subject to change.
Yeah.
But they talked about back in the day. They gave the example of I don't know what was the example, but essentially an Inferno can come in and remove all the armor. Now, normally an Aurora wouldn't be able to hurt a capital ship, but you shred the armor off, then any ship can come in and damage it. So the Aurora, the armor acts almost like a shield until it's destroyed. And I gave you the example of much like how ballistic is to lasers. Me and Algared, well, you correct me if I'm wrong here, Algared, but from our discussions, I believe we were on the same page, is what shields are to armor laser repeaters are to ammo, meaning that the ballistics are limited, as is armor, but shields replace as lasers replace. Re-energize.
Just to be clear, I'm talking about the current flight model. So I'm not talking about armor in the future. I'm not talking about any of that stuff. I'm talking about right now. When this ship comes out, it will get a lot of people are going to get absolutely swarmed by light fighters, and they're going to be very upset. And that's fine. Just know armor is coming, and that will give you more of a defense against them. But for now, it's going to be a pretty one-sided street. Those light fighters are going to rip.
I think we've discovered what's going to happen when you lose this bet. You have to learn to ride a unicycle and do it backwards, backpedaling on a unicycle. That is the bet. That is the bet. Thank you, That's an Insult.
Did I hear you say way ahead of you there? Does that mean you can already backpedal on a unicycle?
Come to a stream near you. That's Insult. Thank you for the tier 1 sub for 4 months on Twitch. I do appreciate it. Daft, you said poll. What do you mean by that? You want to do a poll on something?
I was going to say
a poll on the skin, on what the person.
I was going to say watching Bop's streams. I would not be surprised if Bop fully knows how to ride a unicycle upside down.
And play a mandolin behind his head at the same time, or something like that. Yeah. It's definitely a circus act.
Not going to say banjo. Not going to say banjo.
Well, he got a mandolin now, or whatever that is. It's
it's got to be a mandolin, not a banjo.
There wasn't enough strings on the banjo, so we had to go more strings.
That's right. Absolutely. A harp. I think a harp.
Harp next.
Because then you do two hands,
behind
not
his
one.
head, even, you know.
Yeah. No, between his head and one arm, just like.
Yeah. While pedaling backwards on a bike.
Yeah. Down a hill. Yep. Up a wharf, into the ocean. Us. Anyway, right. All right. Was there anything else you guys wanted to go over before we get into the questions? We don't have a lot of questions today. There's only about 15 there, so it's been quite quiet. But yeah, get your questions in. Things about the Clipper, RSI Salvation, the other ships that are there, and kind of. Oh, I do have one thing I want to go over, Algared. You reminded me of it actually. With I got to go into our private channel. We're going to go over this, Algared. Because I want to ask your thoughts on this and why you boys are all here. You can chip in as well. And I did go over this with you, Bop, so you know what we're about to go with, right? So we got RSI, right? So we're essentially going to get the Salvation and the Perseus.
Day one.
Maybe the Hermes. I think the Hermes is going to be at a later date. Then we move on to some junky thing that not even Lemming cares about. Then we move on.
Hey.
Look,
I deliberately said that.
Based on that, we've got ships on RSI, we've got nothing on Origin, then we've got the Drake.
It's essentially every second day. So it's like RSI with the Salvation, Drake with the with the Clipper,
the Flappy Bird,
the Kruger L22 Alpha Wolf.
Then
on Grey Cat MDC. What's coming on Aegis Day, the last day of the sale, and traditionally where the big ship comes. Now, if you look at all the ships that we've got, if the Hermes isn't coming, we then have room for a large or a capital, that larger capital. Now, technically speaking, we are having that shift from releasing no more concepts or whatever. But the one that Bops kept coming back to, and I'm dreading it, is the battle cruiser.
Can I say something else too? And this is something I thought about.
No, of course you can.
I thought about this after you jumped off, and I was spewing that you left right as I thought of it last night. X. All that art for the F8, all the information we've got coming about the F8, changes to the F8. The fact that Argo Consolidated Outlands are on the Grey Cat Day, I thought maybe we'd get something on Argo Consolidated Outland Day. I don't think we are. I think something happens with the F8 on Anvil Day. So I think the heavy hitter between those 2 days is something about the F8 on Anvil Day, and then the following day is a very light day with just the MDC release.
It doesn't line up because there's every 2 days.
I know it's every 2 days, but there's got to be something coming with that.
But traditionally, there's a pattern to how they release, by the way.
Yeah, I know that. I'm very well.
Some years it's just been everything in this column. Right, it's been every fourth day or something like that, right? We've seen that before, but at the moment, every second day there's something until you get to here. And most day, Lemming, I put this off to you. How often is there something really big on the very final day? It's almost every single time.
Yeah, it's almost always. But now, since we're in the age of post concepts, maybe not anymore. I mean,
yeah, but a
rework.
Lando also did say that if we did the battle cruiser, would be the last concept.
So maybe they're doing the last concept.
But I
wouldn't be the battle cruiser, right?
I got really defensive against Bobs last night. I was like, they do that, I'm going to kill people. Like because they've got the Javelin, they've got the Idris. We do not need another large Aegis ship. We need a large Anvil ship.
But the battle cruiser would be the battle cruiser is a huge ship. Like, why would they? I thought the Javelin was going to be the largest ship. That's
what they said, right? And Lando misspoke and literally talked about doing the battle cruiser as a concept. And I really do think he misspoke. I think he was giving it more of an. I think he was giving it more of an example. If we did do a concept, it would be a larger ship, right? I just think he was giving it as an example and misspoke.
Burn C in your YouTube just said the Hammerhead. They've updated the Hammerhead, Aegis Hammerhead. We didn't even think of that. There's all the updates with all the new airlocks and stuff inside it.
A Hammerhead kit.
Yeah,
I will float that. Yeah, I'll float that.
Aegis beam
Great shout out.
To turn Aegis ships into beam weapons, because this is the year of beam and we still don't have any beam ships.
A Vanguard rework, maybe?
Well, again, you put beams, or I said that earlier on in the year. If you put size 5s, for example, so 2 size 5s per turret instead of 4 on the Hammerhead, totally changes how that ship works. Because then all of a sudden you're shooting up, not down. You know, you've got weapons that can actually hurt capital ships. You know what I mean? So it becomes a little bit more like the Perseus and less of an anti-fighter screen.
I would like, if they were doing the Hammerhead, for the turrets to be small versions of kind of the Javelin type things, where you've got the big gun, size 5s or size 6s, with a smaller size 1 or size 2 coaxial.
Pete likes my idea. He literally mirrored my idea. Remember I said a Grey Cat Hammerhead that did mining or salvage with the thing, and you went, no. Pete reckons it's a good idea.
Okay.
Bops doesn't think it's a good idea either. But look, long story short, that is the only real day left we've got to figure out. And that is a really great suggestion about they have been working on the Hammerhead. I think it's more likely to bring Squadron up to snuff, though, and we know the Hammerhead's in Squadron. But I keep coming back to I think the beam weapon thing is probably coming in December. Remember they talked about saying when, along with the other Wolf, when the Wolf comes, that there'll be more bespoke weapons coming for bespoke weapon ships. Unless that all lands on that day and it's a whole bunch of weapon things that just drop on Aegis Day. That could be it as well. But I don't know, Lemming, I put this to you as someone that follows the CCU stuff as much as me and Algared do. That to me, I can't get away from a big ship not being there. It's usually, small at the start, big at the end.
Big release at the end.
So one thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go, Lemming.
So one thing, there's a possibility, and this is probably an overdose of opium. They don't have to sell it if they talk about something. They don't necessarily have to sell it. So like, they could show us a new Aegis ship coming out in the next 6 months on Aegis Day. They could do that for every single manufacturer and just say, hey, this is coming. No, you can't buy it, but this is coming. Can you, like there was 400i hype that was ridiculous because they showed it to us. And everybody, well, not everybody, I really wanted it. So like people were engaged.
Self-aware Lemming. Look at that. Self-aware Lemming. He's growing. He's not everyone. He's just his own little person. Oh, that's so great to see. No, good. Keep going.
Yeah, go on. Keep going.
I was just saying that, like, doing something similar to like the Paladin, assuming that the Paladin had never been sold. So something coming out in the next 8 months. Man, the anticipation for that would sell so much more.
You have a point. 1 year they did do the 600i rework during AIE, did they not?
Yeah.
So what if that's what it is?
I don't know
What if it's a rework of the Reclaimer?
Yeah.
Or so, as an example, just as an example.
Yep. So just like give us a picture of what's happening with something each day.
Well,
I think that would be crazy for sale.
I'm not even saying each day. I'm just saying like what they did with the 600i. They released all that stuff. What day does that fall on? The 28th and 29th. Let's just have a quick look. Is that on a Friday or Saturday? I have to have a quick look. Hang on.
I think it ends on
I gotta
Wednesday.
be honest here. I'm completely off the battlecruiser train. I've fallen off it. That one sentence, I can't remember who it was who said it in the YouTube chat. I've seen.
Hang on, it's on a Friday and Saturday, which would line up with ISC.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is entirely possible. Sorry, Bobs, go ahead.
I'm seeing Hammerhead now. I'm seeing something happening with Hammerhead. They've been talking about it for weeks and weeks in the monthly reports. They've consistently been going on about how they want to do the rework. And they don't really show us anything these days. They sort of just give us a bit of a flash show and then save stuff for big reveals. It's just how they've changed the way they communicate with us. Yeah. So what I'm seeing is Aegis Day comes around. Maybe there's some little rework to something else, but then Jared has a ISC where he goes, and here's the new Hammerhead. And then we get 15 minutes of them walking through the fucking Hammerhead when we could just go see it on the show floor. That's what I think is going to happen.
I think,
and then people buy 1 million of them.
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to be a challenger to the Perseus.
I think we can agree that this is going to be interesting.
Yeah,
because we don't know, and it's the same thing. Like one of the things, I know Grim's not here, but the ship that me and him are just most interested in seeing is the Clipper, because me and him have been talking about it almost on a daily basis for a year. We just want those answers. And again, the mystery might be nothing, but I'm now interested in seeing what's coming there. So, yeah.
Do you think something comes with the F8 on Anvil Day?
No.
With all the stuff that
no,
you don't think
not according to the pattern. No.
All right.
Because usually it's day on day off, day on day off.
And I think you would agree, Algared, if you were going to do something Anvil, it generally is Invictus because it's military based. Yep. This also tells me that it tends to be something more civilian based because they tend to leave those military things for Invictus.
Yeah. Can I give that in terms of the battle cruiser to I think kill the idea of it as a battle cruiser? It's always, when they've teased stuff in the past, it's Anvil building a capital ship. We haven't heard of Aegis building a new capital ship, and so Anvil would be the one I'd be expecting to build the battle cruiser. Now I could be wrong.
I'll have a look, Guardian.
It could be retrofitted, a retro going back to pulling an old mothballed ship out and doing that. But I would expect to see Anvil doing the battle cruiser, not Aegis. So to me, that kills the battle cruiser idea. Again, could be wrong, but
so along those same lines, if they're going to sell a battle cruiser, it's probably going to be at Invictus. That would make the most sense.
100%.
But to give Bops a little bit of hopium here, I could see an F8A come out on Aegis Day.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think with all the change so I've talked about this before. I watch the patch notes viciously, and the community that is around me, whether they're mine or connected to me, or watch the patch notes viciously. And there's lots of stuff that you can pick up by seeing the patterns in how they're making change. So, for example, I think there's something happening around the Buccaneer. We won't get into it now because it's too much of a discussion, but there's something happening around the Buccaneer because they've separated into 2 stat blocks. They've changed the all of the stats around it as an interceptor. So sounds like something's coming around it, whether that's another interceptor that's being released or whatever.
Well,
and so with the
there's a little bit of fruit to that as well, because in this trailer, it's the only ship that appears twice. And I'll just zoom forward until I can get to it. But I think it's the next one. There are 2 Buccaneers right there. Why?
And we were talking about this before this video came out, right? Because we'd seen the stats in the long ago. And so the same thing can be said for, we saw this with like the Scorpio Centauris, with those heavy fighters that were coming out recently. So the Stinger and the Shiv, there were lots of changes to the heavy fighters that were surrounding them, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not going to go into every example, but the point is you can always see these changes coming. You just don't ever really know what they are because you can't put your finger on it. There have been changes to the F8, some pretty significant ones. It's got 2 Gs extra boost forward. It's in all of the trailers here. It's been appearing in the Inside Star Citizen video. The CitizenCon videos. The F8 was in every single shot for the Genesis tech. So they're doing something with the F8. I don't know what it is.
But they're doing. Aren't they doing their heavy fighter rework this patch?
Correct. Yeah. And if they're doing a heavy fighter rework, then the F8 is unbelievably undergunned. Really undergunned.
Well,
look what the Stinger has.
The F8 is in this trailer as well. They've resold the F8 so many times now.
It's right there in the middle of the screen.
Yeah. I think they'll sell it again. I don't think that's any big thing, to be honest. Doing an F8 variant or the the F7X or something, whatever the hell it was called. They may do that in the future for money. I've got no problem with that, unless I found some definitively in the files. It's not always a point to it, but yes, it does lean. If I found something in the files and weapon changes, then I'd be with you. But I don't think you can say one way or the other. Thank you, Arcane Dodger, for the tier 1 sub. 21 months, dude. That's awesome. Insane. Thank you very much. Appreciate it greatly. So yeah.
Star map Hull E when they get around to it. Many moons from now.
Yeah, sadly. I think for those that have been waiting, it's just not needed for a 5-planet system. You kind of need it in a much bigger system to make sense.
Not speak. Long time ago in the sound files, they were talking about Anvil building a capture.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that's been often teased and talked about, but we've never seen it.
They talked about, I think the Liberator came out that year. Or the year after. It was delayed. They had it in the files and then it didn't come out, but then it came out later. And again, Algared, we didn't go through all the other things on the monthly report, I've just realized. So I will do that real briefly. The big one. Where the hell is the monthly report?
Now could the stream see that last shot with the Perseus?
What was the last shot with the Perseus?
With a chunky wing armor.
You mean this one?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
is that the concept or is that recent?
That's the concept.
Okay, I was gonna say, wow, that looks good.
Yeah, that's our whole fucking point, Lemmy.
It looks good, and it looks chunky, and it looks armored.
We're on the same page.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for the feedback, Lemmy. Good to see. Good to see we're on the same page.
And it's not that we're saying the new one doesn't look good. It's just, to me, it just doesn't look armored.
So I'm just going to try and find the highlights for you here, Algared. Where the hell was it? Finally,
so the one thing that they talked about was...
finally the UK team pre-production kicked off for the Anvil Liberator. This phase is before official production begins and aims to get a solid base for the wider team to go further estimation concepts of regressing aid to smoothing delivery. Sorry, Lemming, you want to say?
That the UTV was finally actually talked about.
Yeah, that's above that as well.
New UTV.
Yeah.
So
you
I did notice that as well.
You have read this?
No. I read it literally as it was up there.
Oh, okay, right, yeah, but yeah, the UTV and the Anvil Liberator, and I'm going to be honest, I'm probably more excited for the UTV than the Liberator personally. They're going to need to do like a full rework, like reconcept of that, or not a full, but I just don't see a place in the game for one that does vehicles and ships, and we've talked about this to death.
I do.
Oh, you do? Oh, please deliver.
I see a clear one. I see a FOB. I see a forward operating base, lands on a planet, and distributes fighters, logistics, and vehicles. And I think that's what this is going to become. I hope.
Do you think they have to armor it up a bit then?
Yeah, no, it's going to become it's basically going to be a small mobile base that lands and does ground assault operations.
It doesn't
that's what I've said.
It doesn't have it does have room in it to add these extra features, but it doesn't have the features. Like, it doesn't even have beds for the other people. It's only got beds for the two crew.
Yeah, they need to add all this stuff, and they need to, if you think about it, the idea of the outward pads for ships to land, that's going to be like a in atmosphere They don't. It's not going to be a transport ship anymore. I believe it's going to be they're in atmosphere. They come and land. They escorted it and then they land.
Well,
forward operating base for those that don't know.
If they're kicking off the Liberator, right, much like doing the Pioneer, and we've talked about doing other ships, I have to assume that there's at least one other Anvil ship coming, maybe along with that. But again, you can kind of see how they've built up to that. Like they've done the Asgards and
we don't need one.
The Paladin, so maybe we don't need one. But like they've now got the groundwork there. But man, I'd love to see. Like we don't really have a. How do I put this delicately? We do not have the larger combat vessel from Anvil. We have a Crucible, we have a Liberator, and we have a Carrack, and they all skirt around military, but none of them are the pew pew. Like,
there's another word you can say that starts with S there, which is they all suck, and it makes me so upset because I love Anvil.
Right,
I really do.
Kick him out of the Discord real quick. Where's my kick button? Where's my kick button? Got a phone.
But honestly, I used to collect all the RSI ships, the Polaris, and all of them. I've still got the Galaxy.
Your Inforunners implication has just been denied. Get the fuck out, you Crucible hating bitch. Get the.
We're so on the same page.
Yeah,
I've been moving over to Anvil because everything now that comes out with Anvil is starting to look really good. The new I love the old Hornet, but the new Hornets look really good. That Paladin looks spectacular. I pull my Paladin up and I look at it and I go, geez, that looks just great. And then I see that stupid freaking Carrack sitting there looking like an overweight penguin laying on its side, and
you lost me.
but you can
you had me, you lost me.
See, this is the thing that infuriates me a little bit about you, Bops, is you don't have the progressive vision that I want you to have, right? And we're going to drill it into you, right? Take everything you had on the Paladin and now apply that to a retextured, re-updated Carrack, and now you're fucking talking. Right?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. But
that's what you've got to see.
A lot of the time you guys talk in the future, but we got to talk about the current
that's
state.
That's how we've always done it, right?
Yeah.
Because if you talk about it now, you get freaking depressed and sad. And you just go down this rabbit hole and you turn into a certain Mike that just loves to drink salt. Right? And that's why we don't do it, because it will make you in a depressed state.
But because most ships came out when most of the features weren't in. Like,
correct.
That's it.
That's it.
The features have been added.
I'm talking specifically not about features, but about design language, right? So obviously the Carrack doesn't have all of its feature sets yet. It doesn't have its cartography, it doesn't have its drones. Visually, though, it is so bland comparative to something like the Paladin, which is like got those aggressive lines, all the greens, the red, the oranges. It's got those wonderful hexagon doors.
But like any brand,
it takes 7 years old.
Yeah,
like I know.
Like every brand, every brand in existence takes time to find their feet, and we're doing it artificially for multiple manufacturers and stuff like that, and we've done it over, like, think about most games, they're made in 3 to 4 years and they kind of fake a lot of shit. This has been almost 15 years and they've actually almost really done it. Like, that's the crazy thing.
Like, look,
where is my Carrack rework? Where is it? I demand it.
Priority. There's no expiration. There's no expiration. There's no reason to do it.
Why do a Carrack rework when it's not needed? The ship works.
It works.
And it's so you don't need to do it yet.
Yeah, John Crew keeps saying that too. He says people keep raising like, why have we not reworked this? Why have we not reworked that? And he says, well, essentially, this kind of ship owner already has a ship that's working. So why would we waste?
So why can't you take him at his word? He's not saying it for fun. He's saying it because that's the real, genuine answer. And it's really obvious.
Just to be clear, I didn't say I don't think they're reworking it. I'm just saying it currently looks like shit.
Yeah. That's because it's 7 years old and they didn't have the
I know.
You got to give them the benefit of the doubt.
When it came out too, oh my god!
When
it came out, it was.
Sorry, go on.
No. When it came out, like all of us walked those decks over and over and over again. Endlessly. Like, we took the lift, we were like, this is amazing.
Yeah, I was
so I remember like going to the Jeffries or the ladder on the side that didn't work yet, and we were all just disappointed we couldn't go up and down the ladder. It was a different time.
And real quick, just to the benefit of its doubt, it has had passes over the years, and the textures on the outside have got better. It was super plain in the beginning, and they've updated, and I have no doubt they'll update it again. Sorry, Lemming, go ahead.
So I was going to say, go back and watch Morph's video on the Carrack when it first came out. And the And Morph is not a generous person when it comes to design. And the praise that he gives that chip compared to everything else. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
it's better than Polaris.
Yep.
The Carrick is better than Polaris.
I think internally it's fine. It's externally that it has its problems. And if you look at the change from the concept to where it is now, like, and we see this again and again. Look at the Mercury Star Runner from what it was to what it is now, and it's just one of those ships that suffered from bloat as they've sort of squished it out. I really hope that they do revisit it.
You would generally agree with this statement. I think all of you. The older a ship came out, or the older a ship is, the worse it is because it was of its moment. Right, and I'm listening to all the ships you've mentioned. Like you
Redeemer,
can see,
Vanguard.
I was thinking Retaliator until I got the rework. Starfarer. I remember when the MSR came in, it was the first ship that got the panel lights, and you now go use those panel lights, and they're out of date compared to the other panel lights. Right, the whole ship was built on stilts. It grew to the size of a Connie, and it was originally a medium. That's why we now have the Spirit, because it's replacing what the MSR was meant to be. So you can just see there's all these, the fucking Reclaimer. The Reclaimer was amazing when it came in, and now it's this dilapidated piece of shit because the gameplay doesn't work.
How dare you?
So my favorite,
it's beautiful.
It's my favorite ship. I can say that to anyone, right? So I can criticize the shit out of it, right? I can do that with any ship, right? So when I like, and there's so many things me and Algared have said over the years. Like, remember how much shit we got for the Ares, Algared, when we called them for what they were? 12 months later to a little bit later, people going, oh yeah, shit, you were kind of right. The Star Lancer, I called it for what it was, and I got a lot of shit for it. But now there are people that are like going, yeah, it's kind of a sudden not as good as I thought it was, and I'm hearing that from multiple people, right, that have come to me and said, you know, but there will be just as many people that still love it, right? The point I'm trying to get to is why the whole reason me and Algared go for where the game's coming out is because that's the eventuality. That is the goal. That's where they're heading for. And if you don't look at that goal and see how far away it is and that it's coming, you're just going to get lost in, you're going to go crazy and get negative, and you're just going to become an absolute mess. And me and Algared, and I know I'm putting words in your mouth a bit here, Algared, but it's something that I always used to say was I'm always looking for progress. That little step forward, more and more.
We've said it many times when people say, "Oh, are you worried about Star Citizen?" And I've always said, "Well, I can see progress. I've always been able to see progress." Like, you know, and you know, even at the early days when we had Arena Commander, and people say, "Oh, this is crap," and I said, "Man, this is better than most AAA games we've got out there." That Arena Commander in itself was as good as some of the games that were out there. And it was only just a smidgen of what we've got now, and people still complain.
And we've still got to
please anyone.
And we've still got a lot more to go.
Yeah,
a lot more to go with the gameplay. Look, I was in the engineering test. One of the streams we did was the engineering test, and you guys, like, if you thought we saw bitching for the flight changes, you got no fucking idea what's coming. Some people are going to lose their shit when they see what engineering does, because you're not going to be able to just take out an Idris and do it solo anymore. That is dead.
Did you want me to read that summary that I got sent that wraps up the engine? I guess you've already done an engineering episode.
We kind of did. We kind of already covered it. And if anyone's got an engineering question, they'll chuck it in there. And
now I expect when engineering comes out, the Carrick's actually going to have a slight advantage because it's actually got a workshop. The only ship with a specified workshop.
Well, I mean, Carrick 2.0, but yeah.
Well, the Carrick, as we currently have it, has a workshop. It's always had a workshop. Now, one of the things that I know people loved about the Carrick was its spindly legs. I hated the spindly legs.
Me too.
It made the ramp have to be 10 times longer and bigger just to be able to get in. And then you had all rear angles where you couldn't get vehicles in. Well, lowering it down and making it feel squatter, and shorter was actually a bonus.
The armor as well, Algared. They added that after. I forgot about that. Yeah.
The roll down armor on the top hasn't been added in, or if it has, I haven't seen it yet.
The antennas, they've got to add those as well.
The antennas for helping improve navigation and recording of jump points haven't been added in.
Yeah, when
the drones
when scanning comes in,
right. So there's lots of gameplay for the Carrick that's not in, but it is also a mid-sized ship. Or not, I mean, in terms of military ship, it's not a capital, but it's that Corvette.
It's the largest large we have, basically. But, yeah.
But we don't have a version of the Carrack hull that's gunned up yet. We don't have that military gunned up version, or we don't have whatever other versions I would have of that. We've only got the exploration version.
And you were saying, SO?
Yeah, sorry. The turret coverage of the Carrack is one of the best turret coverage ships in the game. The problem with it is that they're undergunned.
But that's
Exactly
deliberate because that ship is not meant to be around other people. It is meant to be out on its own.
It's not.
And I'm telling you, once you see engineering, you'll understand a lot more about that ship. There's a whole reason why it's got its own repair shit. It's got its own hospital, because once you put that shit out and it's black, if anything goes wrong, that ship is dead. It is so dead. Like, if it is the ship that is like the submarine that is like under the ocean, miles out from everyone else, and something hits the fan, it needs to be able to fix itself, because it's never going to get back if it can't.
That's why it's got the repair drone.
Yeah.
That's why it's got the repair boat.
No, I agree. It's my second favorite ship. The Gladiator, by design, it's my favorite ship. I just love that ship. But the Carrack is the only other ship I definitely will own.
Now, we're going to have a bit of a sidebar here. Maximilian is a viewer that asked to come on. Maximilian, are you there? Are you able to unmute yourself? Well, shit, maybe you can't. I've got to set a roll for him. Hang on.
No, I got him.
You got him? I'll make him a I got him. I'll make him a Merlin.
And that's why we love Lemming, because he can just do that stuff so well.
There he is. Now you should be able to talk, Maximilian. You there, man?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
So what did you want to talk about?
So it's two things. One is regarding the Perseus's new look and how, in my opinion, it looks more armored from a modernized sense. And secondary was about the Liberator and its purpose.
All right, so which one you want to go first? You pick.
We'll go with the Perseus first, because I think I've got a pretty solid argument here.
Those are fighting words, but okay, yeah, sure. Let me just get my gloves on.
There you go. Done.
Reactive armor.
Yeah.
Yes, ESC. It's ESC, right?
SA, yeah, SA.
SA, all good. So, I'm going to send you two images, Execute.
Sure.
One is a... Oh, that image is too big. Let me find one that I can actually send on Discord. So, there is a tank called the M60. This was a tank designed in the 1950s and entered usage in the 60s. Now, M60s are still used to this day by multiple nations, but they undergo modernization upgrades. Now, these modernized M60s, they change very much from these very flat panels with like slight decaling on and detailing to large, more greebled paneling. This is things like explosive armor and composite armor.
Yep.
These are things that weren't around in the 1960s, but as that technology's increased, it's been able to be added to these things. So rather than armor needing to be, say, 6 foot of steel, it can instead be 1 foot of composite armor. And obviously that's not what the tank would have, it's millimeters, but as technology increases, the need for it to look a certain way is reduced by technological increases. For example, the Perseus has been able to be upgunned and upgraded to a modern standard.
So you're essentially saying it's an updated look, right? They've essentially gone back and added more current armor techniques. Okay. I'm gonna see where you're going with it. SA, is there anything you want to kind of weigh in there?
No, he's 100% right. I mean, reactive armor and like different technologies have made. If you look at even the Abrams, for example, when it came out versus now, it's completely different. You don't realize it till you see it. They're like, if you look at the Abrams that we gave to Ukraine versus the ones that we field, they're completely different. Exterior visually. And reactive armor is technology that allows rounds and impact to come in where it reacts with different material composites other than just pure old steel plates. So no, he's 100% right. My complaint about the Perseus wasn't that. It was that I wanted the old school Perseus, that look. It's purely visual. It's not what you're saying. I think you're 100% right, Maximilian.
Oh, I completely agree that I do wish it was flatter, but I still believe that it looking armored is still how it looks now.
It's just not this. It's just not this. It's just not this.
Now,
this is what I thought I was.
I'll agree with that.
This is what I thought I was getting. And I'm not getting that.
My question for reactive armor, they put it on the already existing stuff, don't they? It's not like,
No.
we'll take off that
So
old turret and
there's
put a
two
brand new
different
turret with
types.
all this stuff on.
You've got ERA, which is the stuff the Russians use, and what that is that's small plates that explode upon impact, and that's why when you see like any Russian or just Soviet block tanks, they've got these weird squares just scattered all over them.
Yep.
Over in NATO and like Australia, any Western nation, we use something called NERA. Now that stands for NATO Explosive Reactive Armor, or non-explosive reactive armor. Sorry. Now what that is it's armor that has things like quartz and other materials built within it. And what that does is it destroys the penetrator tip on the weapon system, so it can't penetrate. It's also really good against heat shells. But that stuff can be built directly into the armor, and then it can also be added additionally.
Okay. You also want to... Go
Sorry,
ahead.
I don't mean to jump in on this, but like of course, this is my wheelhouse. I get super excited having someone else talk about this.
I'm getting that vibe. I'm getting I was about to say, Maximilian, if I ever want someone to do the, well, actually, like you have the perfect voice for that, bro. Like it's, well, actually. Anyway, sorry, go ahead, Essay.
So you'll see tanks with like plates hanging from the side that are not actually mounted to the vehicle, but they're attached to the vehicle.
You can see in the picture I've got up there right now.
I really can't. Yeah.
Well, I'll zoom in a bit for you. You're old. I forgot.
And you'll see a change in design of tanks where like you see them above the top tread and down, along the what's called the wheelhouse. The reason why that was done was basically because you have what are called ricochet rounds. So a round is shot low to go after a tread, it bounces. So you hang them off because why? You have movement, vibration, etc. You also see them on the top turrets occasionally. And I think it's the oh my God, the current German tank. I can't think of the name off the top of my head. But you'll see it. Yes, Leopard. Yeah, you'll see the Leopard with that. And the Germans will literally just like they're trained during combat. If one gets hit, they'll jump out and throw an entire like blanket of this armor on the side of the tank where it was hit. It's just new technology, and I agree. I think that what he's saying about the Perseus and like it advancing in technology, I 100% agree. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing an advancement in armor technology. I just want to buy an old Perseus. Yeah, I want that old armor. That's the only complaint I have.
Even here, though, with the metal plates along the wheels and stuff like that, I like that look. That's what I thought I was getting in the Perseus, and it's just a disappointment. It's not the end of the world. Like I'm sure functionally the ship's exactly the same. And as I said, and as people have alluded to, could they do a skin that's the older one that's more armored? Yeah, absolutely.
It's just give that impression of more armor.
Yeah.
Like I said, like I've said, for me. Doesn't matter if a ship is as armored or, as I say, it just to me does not look armored. Just the aesthetic does not feel armored.
And remember though that this is the thing that we get caught up a little bit. But at the end of the day, this is all made up.
Yep.
It's all space fantasy.
If you say it's just a game, I'm kicking.
No, but listen. If you go back to that awesome picture of the Perseus, that amazing picture of the Perseus.
Kids today, Algared, no respect.
I know.
Why can't we just say in this magical space land that we all love so much that's not some kind of sweet new sci-fi reactive armor? It's sci-fi. Any tech that is sufficiently advanced is imperceptible from magic.
Because I don't like it.
That could be your that could be your reactive armor.
Right.
That's it. That's
right. We have a pleading the fifth person here now. C-Day's just turned up in Twitch chat. Nice to see you, C. I noticed you were pleading the fifth to Grim, so I won't ask you any harsh questions about the Clipper or the Actually, I will ask you one question, right? And it's not, you don't have to tell me where or anything like that, but is the RSI salvager somewhere in that clip? Because we can clearly see the Clipper, but many people are, look, I'll keep scouring the video. Actually, no, don't tell me, because then you'll tell me it's there. I'll just keep scouring, you'll tell me it's there. But I've scoured that video and I cannot find the salvager anywhere.
The black blobs?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe you'll tell us, maybe it won't. But yeah. All right. So so what was the other part, Maximilian, you want to go over?
So I've just thought of another one that I'm going to ask quickly, which is, what is your guys' opinion on how many windows the Perseus has now? Because for an armored ship, you don't normally expect windows.
Well, apparently in the lore, isn't it like it's a transparent metal, Algared, so it really doesn't matter.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's basically strong as the hull.
Yeah.
Supposed to be.
Yeah. So really doesn't matter.
Fair enough. The other thing was... Oh, go on.
So I did want to talk about this briefly. I think that if we're talking about, if in lore this becomes this ship has been upgraded, I think it'll have more visibility in the concept because of them saying, hey, we added this transparent new alloy, to the side of the docking colors because you want to see who's boarding you, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I can see a peephole. I can see a positive benefit to being there more than a negative, put it that way. But we'll see. So what was the other thing you wanted to talk about? Go ahead,
the final thing.
Hang on, Lemming when it says on. Go ahead, Lemming.
Yeah. So again, to talk about kind of hopium here, what if the thundercloud paint? Because what's that going to look like on that new hull?
That's what I'm saying. I think it's going to be messy as Grim brought it up as well, and I brought it up earlier in stream.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. You missed it. It's all good. You turned up late. That's fine. You're fired. No, just kidding. It's fine. I don't know, man. I really don't know. God. I really don't know. Yeah, he's like, thank God, I can don't have to do this shit anymore. No, look, I that was my question too, Lemming. I think it with the kind of triangle nature of the thundercloud paint and the kind of triangling nature of the new texture, I just think it's going to be a mess. But we'll wait and see. Maybe they made it fit the triangles or something. We'll have to wait and see. So anyway, Maximilian, what was your question, bud?
So the final one was regarding the Liberator and its role. And in my opinion, that thing only needs beds for the crew on board.
Okay.
Because I think it will be used as something called a FARP. It's another military thing. It's a forward arming and refueling point. And the way I see it...
Wait. So that's different from a FOB?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, it is.
So FOBs are a base that units will operate out of and is more defensive in its nature, while a FARP
and have command and control.
Exactly. Now, I'm just going to send you a DM of what a FARP could look like. Now, the way I imagine it is...
That looks like something that would drop out of a Carrack, to be honest, from a Carrack module, but it
would be cool.
It kind of does look cool, but here...
The way I view it is... being able to pull up into a system with a Liberator and then having your fleet basically be able to use the Liberator as what the Crucible was originally meant to be. Being able to repair, rearm, refuel on board the vessel. And then, unlike the Crucible only having that one pod to repair one Hornet, you could land multiple Hornets on board, get multiple things going at the same time. And then if all of a sudden you get attacked, the Liberator can get out of dodge. And then those fighters can all dismount and engage.
But you've only got hand repair tools on a Crucible as opposed to the arms.
And
wait.
Yeah, and you'll also hang on, but you'll also be able to 3D print the actual frame on a Crucible. You can only do the outer shell. So if you lose a wing, you have to actually have a wing as a part ready to go for that Pacific ship to connect onto. You can't just make another one. Sorry, Lemon, go ahead.
So about that, with what they said about the upcoming Vandal raid thing that they talked about at SitCon, I think that actually moves the Liberator up on my like list, because they said that you're going to be able to refuel from pads again and rearm. So
from last to second last, that's impressive, Lemming. Out of 200 ships, it's gone from last to second last. That's impressive. No, I'm just kidding.
My only concern about that is when they were asked about the ability of the Liberator to refuel, rearm, and repair ships, it was stated you can only hand repair, hand refuel, hand rearm.
I would agree.
Go ahead.
You go first.
Right, no. Well, no, go ahead. Someone in chat just said something. I'll add this to it so you can answer this in it as well. He said, Womballissimo said, also Ironclad Assault has rearm, refuel, and can be a base. But that'd be more for vehicles. So there, again, the Liberator is similar to the Ironclad Assault, but I'll let you answer in your own words, Maximilian.
So, Minyo actually spoke about this before. I asked this in chat before. I think that the Liberator being a higher price point than the Ironclad Assault means it's going to get a lot of the features of the Ironclad Assault, but for both ground and spaceships. And we'll see that when it goes up in price. But I think, going back to what, is it Algared? I always mess up your name and I don't mean to.
No, you said it right.
Beautiful. I think that the view CIG had for the Liberator on concept is going to be very different from...
Thanks, I'm Batman. All right, go ahead.
I think it's going to be very different from how it goes out on release. Yeah. And I think that's just due to how development in general has changed for the game, and especially the purpose of ships. I think they're all designed to be a lot more competitive. For example, the Perseus getting all the point defense and the additional guns, I think is to make it less susceptible to niches. And I think we'll see that with the Liberator.
So my brain goes two ways, and I'll ask this real quick, Algared, and then you can see what you say. Tech level, because Anvil's definitely a higher tech level than Drake. And two, you're dealing with ships, not vehicles in the Liberator. I think that explains the price increase. But yeah, you go ahead, Ann.
I can see where it's going, and I can also say, yeah, look, things change. One of the things that CIG haven't said about the Liberator yet is that, oh yes, it's not hand refuel, hand rearm, hand, etc. And one of the things we've found in the past, if they don't update it, that's what it is. And so far, I've just got to stick at what they've said it is.
Yeah. So Algared,
that's a negative there. Hang on. Let me finish before I lose my train of thought, because I will lose my train of thought. The other thing is that we always used to assume, based on when it was pulled out and what it was for, it was a shipping ship. And I have a feeling that is actually morphing. It's not going to be just a shipping ship anymore. And that may mean that the things they've said about it in the past. Now, again, I'm only going on what I think, not based on what CIG have said here. I don't think it's just going to be a shipping ship anymore. That means the things that they said, if I carry that through, the things they said about hand repair, hand refuel, hand rearm, may also be updated and changed. But I can't say.
I agree with you.
For certain, I've got to speculate. I can. If you ask me what CIG have said, I've got to go back. If you ask me what I think, that's where I'd sit.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Unless they tell us it's been updated. For example, say it has a small fabricator like the Ironclad. Unless we hear that from the horse's mouth, I am not going to apply that to it. Though it would be nice to have. I wouldn't see it as a guarantee unless they show us that.
Yeah.
So one thing about that is that they said that around the same time that they said that no landing pads on ships are going to be auto refuelable. And more recently, they specifically said that on the Polaris and on the Idris, that you are going to be able to repair. Well, they didn't say repair, but they did say refuel and rearm.
If you have
explicitly,
yeah, right, and I think you're seeing that as a tier 0,
right? Yeah,
and I think because obviously you're gonna need base building in before repair comes, because let's be honest, repair is just a smaller version of base building, or as in building in general. So once they've got the full building in, they can go back and do the repair segment, so to speak. So it's just a cart before the horse problem, and obviously we don't have the hose tech in. As an example, to run a hose across the deck and put it into your fuel port, but we know a lot of ships are getting fuel ports now. So there is a lot of precursors to it coming in. And it's just give it a bit of weight.
And not just fuel ports for ships, but fuel ports so you could actually run a hose and attach it to the hose. So we are seeing that type of stuff come in. So
you and I
at some point we'll have that.
They even mentioned jerry canning back in the day. So in an emergency, can you go to it's a 3K walk, but can you get to an emergency outpost, get a fuel can, and walk all the way back, refuel your ship so you can go home? Things like that. Like that may be a thing in the future, but it's a cart before the horse problem.
They've updated the Starfare recently, and it's refueling, because now when you connect to it, it not only refuels you, but it sends you 50 odd GM across the universe. So it's got teleport tech as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No,
but one of the things that I think also goes in with hose tech coming is hose tech is really just rope tech.
Yeah. Or someone said that in chat. They literally said that.
I didn't see that, but there you go.
Yeah.
But hose tech is rope tech, and we've got rope tech in our tractor beam type, the way the tractor beams work. So
it's in it's in the engine. It's just, again, priority. If you don't have repair, why would you go ahead and put hoses in? There's just no point.
Yep.
So again, it's just always priority, and that priority thing is gonna let you dictate and figure a lot of stuff out on your own. So,
and yes, I could see that being part of engineering, all that stuff being part of engineering. You know, hoses for firefighting, hoses for refueling, and all that stuff. But let's not put overload engineering with everything else that would come. Let's just get different things in first. But yeah.
All right, Maximilian, I'm going to get you to what?
SA, you wish to say something?
Oh yeah. You know, I do have an opinion on the Liberator. Maximilian's 100% right. This is a forward operating position, pre-mobilization. You land it on the ground, you assault type of base that you come back, you refuel, you repair. It will change. The repair bay made that obvious that it has one bit internal for land vehicles, and that you can run a service vehicle and 2 fighters off the deck. Plus, you have an independent cabin, you know, for command and control, and a fighter. I think that's going to change. That'll go away. There's not going to be like a fighter pilot lounge, but yeah. And you have the ability to actually transport in drop seat Marines with you. Yeah, this is your ground assault command vehicle.
An anonymous gifter gave CIG, C-Daddy CIG, anonymous sub on Twitch. Thank you very much. Maximilian, I'm going to thank you for joining us. Thank you for your insight. I do appreciate
we'll
that.
say goodbye, Maximilian.
We'll see you around. Nice to see you. I'll talk to you again soon. You just drop out whenever you're ready, man. Yeah, no worries, man. You're welcome.
Bye.
Just shoot me another message if you want to come on another time. So it's all good. Just drop out whenever you're ready. Thank you. Bye-bye. So on this question and answer stream, Algared, now 2 hours and 5 minutes in, let's do some questions.
All right. Socially confused. First question. Is the Clipper a medium or large?
Medium. Next.
There you go. Boom. Done. Project Gnome 1961. Do you think the command module tech will be a precursor to player-controlled drone tech?
Yeah, I think it could, in a way. Like, if you kind of think about it, it could. It definitely wouldn't hurt it. But if you essentially look at it, you and I have talked about this, Algared. It's kind of like a snub that has a remote turret and a snub combined. That's how you and I looked at it.
I don't see it being drone tech. I see it as, and I think even Ben and John would have said something similar. It's a ship. And then when it connects to a new ship, you change the flight dynamic and it becomes a brand new ship.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
giving the controls from one ship to the other.
Yeah. It's taking controls of the body rather than and changing and that. So, and I think the problem then becomes, how do you get the command surfaces to work, and how do you get the flight model to work and break up those differences? But I think they've been the blockers for the command module on the CAT and the Ironclad going forward. And now that they're doing the Ironclad, it's making them work on the command module as well. So,
one last thing I forgot to tell you, Algared. This week, Grand Theft Auto 6 was delayed again by another 6 months, now coming out on the 19th of November, 2026. So that has squadron connotations. Sorry, I just thought I'd just tell you that. So,
it does. I don't think it changes when CIG plan for squadron, though.
Again, if they were doing it in October, it's a month before, it should be okay.
No game company wants to release anywhere near Rockstar's release of, and you'll see the entire industry shift their dates. We see it again and again. The entire industry shifts their dates. Importantly, though, just because I want to point it out, Rockstar is union busting.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
There was like 40 or 50 people got fired. So
I heard it was
just
250. But
no, the union buster guys were a specific 40 or 50 that were using a Discord to communicate, and so they've all just been instantly sunk. So just remember that when you purchase your next Rockstar game, that they are union busting. Just something to think about. Sorry.
So they are the evil empire.
They are.
Just to stress.
I think they've proven that with all their basketball games that they did as well. You know, the 2K.
Yeah, worse than EA. There you go.
Yeah. So they.
Now, if I've heard it right, and I could be making stuff up or have heard stuff incorrectly. Just for those who are wondering why I think EA is the evil empire. As I understand it, EA was the company which Chris originally went to get funding to push the idea of Star Citizen, and they basically said no one wants it. So he ran the Kickstarter to actually prove proof of concept.
Yeah.
And my understanding is EA kept moving the goalposts of where they had to be to get the funding.
Yeah.
And in the end,
Sandy,
if I hear the story correctly, Sandy said, "Why don't you just go alone? Just do it without them."
They weren't.
Now that part is true. Sandy basically said, "Why don't you just do it alone without whoever you're going with?" But I had heard it was EA. I have heard that EA kept changing the goalposts and advancing where they had to go and putting more restrictions and other stuff on. So EA, in my opinion, are the evil bastards and evil empire.
All those bigger game companies are. Just to be clear, because there's a lot of misdirection being thrown out there into the media by Rockstar at the moment. Allegedly, this is all allegedly as well, just to cover ourselves. I have a law degree, so allegedly. But basically, the leaks that they were discussing was that they've been called out for leaking is internal communications and how things are handled within the business. So it was nothing about the video game GTA 6. It was the things that they leaked was them communicating on Discord about, oh, I'm entitled to this or am I entitled to that, which is internal business structure stuff that they should be going to their HR company for. So they didn't leak anything about the game. They were communicating about the union, and that's why they were all fired. So they didn't leak anything. They literally were just trying to protect themselves, and they couldn't organize fast enough, and they were fired. So yeah. Anyway, enough of that. Doesn't matter. So I just thought I'd put
the foreman. Unless you wish to chuck anything in, X.
No, I'm good.
Okay, the foreman had a question. Is the RSI salvation shown in the video from 24 seconds to 27 seconds?
24 to
27.
27.
So it starts off on the right, and then on the last frame is bottom right.
24. Oh god, I don't have the time thing up. Hang on.
And while you're looking for that, some bozo said,
"Is his name Algared? Algared?
No.
Algared, he's a viewer. You can't say that about him.
Sorry, I know. Some bozo said, "Call it. Are we getting data running for the next patch?"
Oh, what an idiot!
I know. Some bozo, right? Who would ever say that, right, Bobs?
Yeah. All right, so I'll just take it back over, but I think he's talking about the same one where the we were looking at where we thought it could be the I think this is where he's talking. Could be wrong, but I think he's talking. What did he say? Read the question again, please, Algared.
He said 24 to 27 seconds.
Yep.
It starts off in the off to the right, and then in the last frame, it's bottom right.
Oh,
so that little thing?
That's a Buccaneer.
But before that, there's something that whipped past really quick. Go back a little bit further. There was something that whipped past really, really quick. Where is it? Yeah, that. What's the? Oh, it's a Shiv. Never mind. Oh, it's a Shiv.
Yeah, that's a Shiv. So that's
Shiv and a Buccaneer.
That's the Shiv.
Yeah.
And that's the Buccaneer. That's an F8. This is, we worked out, is a Guardian. This is a Spirit up here, and this is a Razor.
What's the ship behind the Razor right now? The one in front. Go back.
Behind the Razor right now. That's an F8. That's the Buccaneer. That's a Saber.
The one behind it. The one above your head right now.
Is that a Corsair?
That's a Razor.
It's a Perseus.
The shadowy one below.
Behind it.
About the Perseus.
He's talking about the really big one. That's an Idris.
Below.
No, he's talking about the one directly behind
I've
the Razor
identified
right now.
every single ship on here, man. It doesn't matter. None of them are.
There's a Polaris. He's talking about the Polaris. There's a Polaris that's behind the Razor. If you go back, yeah.
Where?
That's Polaris.
Well, that's a Polaris.
Yeah, it's the RSI look. Yeah, RSI look. So I was wondering.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's the one he was asking about.
Yeah, and that's the Perseus. That's an 890 jump. There's literally nothing in this frame that I can't identify, and I've been through it all.
SA, just because this is the first time we've chatted, I've heard heaps about you from X. He brings you up all the time, in a positive way.
He's my boyfriend, so.
Is it you that he said? And maybe this is the wrong time. Is it you that he said has maybe a little bit of an issue with the design language of the Polaris?
Yeah. It was going to be my favorite ship. Yeah, I very similar to the Perseus. I think it's over-greebled and it's too clean inside for a military ship.
Okay, let's have a chat sometime. I want to have a bit of a chat to you because I know you're a military guy too, so I'd like to pick your brain about it.
He melted his Polaris
100%.
essay. Bop's melted.
Actually, I melted an Idris first when it was.
But I'm just saying he also melted his Polaris.
I melted my Polaris. Yeah.
Oh, and he's an RSI man.
And do you know what he's doing? And do you know what he's doing? Do you know what he's doing now? He has a Perseus. And he's giving it away.
Coming over to the Bop stream.
Go to his channel and enter his
he had one for himself, and now he's just giving it away. Like it's
Yep.
So, yeah. We'll see.
All right. So
I'll be the same if I don't like it. I'm going to be honest. But like, you can only buy. Let's be honest. You can only buy these ships on how you kind of feel in the moment. That is the negativity to.
Yep.
So now there's no more concept sales. I think that's kind of a good thing for the new people coming in. There's no waiting. They're never gonna. Well, unless they get like an Endeavor or a Crucible or something. But you know what I mean, right? They're not gonna have the same intrepidation that we've had to live through. So that's a good thing.
Well, it's right.
It'll be what it is when it's released, which is awesome. Like when the Ironclad comes out, well, I mean that's a bad example because it's a pre-concept. But when it comes out for the newbies, it's just going to drop and there it is, right? If they release the Paladin Mark II when it comes out, we're not going to be sitting there for weeks wondering if it'll have the baby carriers where you float above the people below you. It'll just drop. You can go look at it and then decide whether or not you want to buy it. Yeah, I think that's way better.
And I've got to admit, like one of the things that fed my Pokemon syndrome was not knowing, liking the look of a ship, liking the concept of what the ship could do, but then not knowing how it was going to stack up against this ship that could also do that job. And so you've already got the ship and you couldn't CCU to it, so you kind of ended up with two. Because you want to be able to fly them and test them and try and work out which one you want.
I just want to go through a thought exercise with you briefly, Algared, right? And this is something that Bop's kind of brought into my head when we were talking about it.
Yeah.
Is say they bring out you know what I'm about to say. They bring out that battle cruiser that's above the Javelin for sale. What do you do?
Well, I always thought if they brought out the Pegasus, I would melt a lot of my stuff to get it.
Okay, so you would remove one of your 3 javelins to get it. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I'd be quite happy to melt a javelin or 2 to get it.
What would the other side of the coin be, though, for someone that was told that the Javelin would be the biggest ship you could ever own?
It'd be, I'm pissed off.
And how many? You're in that Mile High Club thing. What's it called? The
Million Mile High Club.
Million Mile High Club, right? Now you know those people better than I ever will. They are the target demographic for a ship like this. You'd probably agree, yeah?
Yeah. I would say that.
Would you say that would be a very bad taste in a lot of those people's mouths if they did in fact sell this ship?
I think a lot of things that come out these days leave a bad taste in their mouth because a lot feel that their concerns or their worries or things that they've been told in the past are just ignored.
I know there's another. So I don't want to call. I'm going to call him out because I know him. He's my friend. The Real Sandig is also a member of that club, and he will. I'm pretty sure. Just tell us in Twitch, Alex, Real Sandig, your thoughts on that. Would you be pissed as well if they did that to you, knowing that it was promised that the Javelin was the biggest ship you could ever buy, and they bring out a ship above? I know you'd go out of your way to get it. He buys everything. He is definitely
that was my point.
He's definitely a Pokemon collector. Yeah, but like,
it's not like to wean myself off.
It's not like you can just buy an upgrade from a Javelin to a battle cruiser.
No.
you've got to essentially spend a whole fresh money. So even it was 3,100, it's now 3,100, like, and more likely, let's be honest, it's gonna be like $5,000.
But that was my point, is that like these the people who spend this kind of money, people like Algared, and I'm friends with a bunch of the two, like Brian, and I'm pretty sure I won't mention the name, but there was someone who said they spent $70,000 at this stage. The people who like to buy these ships, they are more excited to fund the company and support CIG and then get something new than they are upset that the Javelin is no longer a bigger ship. Do you see what I mean?
Rookie numbers, Algared, wouldn't that be from what you and I've seen? Rookie numbers. That's what I'm saying.
I do recall being at a bar citizen in about 2015, and there was a group of 5 or 6 people, and between them they had close to $1 million.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy much money.
Yeah.
Thank you for funding the game for us, guys. We appreciate it.
That was 2014 when the funding was significantly less.
Yeah. So
okay.
The real Sandig said, yes, he would try to get one, and to be honest, it wouldn't bother him too much. So yeah, go ahead, Lemming.
So, what says that the battle cruiser has to be larger than Javelin?
Because it is
a battle cruiser.
It's in if you literally go into the funding goals, it is literally kind of listed where it is. It's smaller than a Bengal, but larger than a Javelin.
I mean, history.
Well, I'm not even talking about history, because some of the ship names are out of order compared to history. And
right?
No, battlecruiser is a.
No, I know battlecruiser
is its own class.
I know it is, but things like Corvette and Frigate, aren't they backwards or something, Algared? I know you've told me about.
No, they're not.
Yeah, Corvettes are small. Frigates are kind of bigger.
They fixed it. Yeah, the Idris is now a frigate. Yeah.
Well, but a Javelin's a destroyer, and in history, destroyers are tiny.
Yep, indeed. Like, the idea of a destroyer is a torpedo boat destroyer. That's what they were developed as. You had torpedo boats, which are deadly, so you developed a small, fast ship that could take them out.
But they're not
anymore.
They're not anymore.
So this shows you that they're game developers and not historians, right? And that's
right.
Yeah. So at the end of the day,
they should hire me to advise them on.
Right. So
they wouldn't hire you. Astro's got a history degree. Yeah. Get us in there. Get us in there.
I don't think they need. I don't think they need to hire anyone. They just need to put the question out there, and the community will help them answer it. I think like one of the things me and Bops talked about, right? And I think he showed that he's going to start to do it this week, and I hope it's true. Was Yogi, right? The thing you told me about the post Yogi made. Bobs.
So good, Yogi.
So he actually went on to Spectrum and he started talking about the things in the flight model. He needs to do that more. Instead of like hiding off and making this private little test group, he just needs to be open and take the criticism as it comes. And guess what? The people that agree with you will go to bat on you. And one of the things I've learned about Spectrum, as I think everyone here will tell you that's been here for a really long time, is Spectrum is a loud minority. Right? And if someone comes out and gives you shit, Yogi, guess what there, bud? I'll be the first person in line and there'll be 1,000 people behind me. And I don't mean that lightly.
That's why I brought it up on my Twitch, and I spent a considerable amount of time talking about it, because obviously I can be critical of the flight model. I'm a PvPer and I like that stuff. But I sat there for a good 30 or 40 minutes going through what Yogi had said. He didn't really say that much, and just complimenting him, because what he said was clear, concise, to the point, accurate. There was no room for misinterpretation, and what he was saying was positive, and it showed me that he has a clear vision. It was such a good little bit of info that he put out. I'd love for him to do that more often. I'd love for him to do that.
Hang on.
You want to deal with the blue one?
No. I want to deal with the Grim one, because the Grim one got me for half a second. So Grim goes, just wait till you guys see the Aegis Battle Dozer. And for half a second, I was like, what have you found, son? You son of a bitch. He got me good. All right. And then you can do that one, Algared. So,
and so we've got a super chat from Canalist 3554, $2. He says, if anyone bought one of every ship, how much would it be? And I have no idea.
What's the last? I think a couple of years ago, the Legatus package was 52K or 57K or something like that.
The Legatus package is padded out with all the skins and weapons and everything else. So it's not quite there. And then it gets the discount for buying that package
They need a ship only one. I'm like, why would you want every single armor?
Does it include the subscriber stuff, Algared?
Yes.
So I think it has the subscriber stuff in it as well. I'm not sure.
And have all the weird oddball ones, like the Raven, the Mark 1, the Liberator.
Yeah. No, the Raven is. It includes
the Raven and the Omega are not in it because they are special.
What about Valkyrie Liberator?
But hang on.
That's in it.
Hang on. But Algared, you were telling me a couple of years ago, every time they bring out, so they bring up an update pack at the end of every year, and they now include in that update every single skin that came out that year. And so before it used to just be every ship. Now it's every skin.
Every year they bring out the skins as well.
But essentially it's doubled the size of the price of that upgrade pack now.
Yeah, like there's some upgrade packs where because of because they're bringing out so many skins and so many spacesuits and so many guns, and they get piled into those add-on packs.
See, Daddy made a comment there. If you want to read that,
it really does become huge. So who am I looking at? Who's
See Daddy in Twitch, or do you want me to read it?
See Daddy.
You want me to read it, or you want to read it?
Yeah, you can read it.
The C Daddy says from CIG says, well, we stopped making a new Legatus pack a while ago because there was so much. I think it's been the last 2 years we've just added add-on packs for the Legatus. And the point I'm trying to make is most people don't want the extra skins and shit. I know this because I've talked to Legatus people. You need to have 2 packs, one that just adds the ships and one that does everything, including the skins. Because I can tell you right now, just to give an example, Algared doesn't give a shit about skins, right? And I'm just giving that's just one example.
I would like some skins, but I don't like every skin.
Yeah.
And I would love to do the upgrades, but one of the upgrades I was looking at.
Yeah.
I look at the ships and I go, yeah, okay. I cannot melt the ships that I've got that are in that pack and be able to get the add-on because there's so much crap.
Yeah. It's too bloated. And I'll tell you now, as a skin guy, I don't want every skin either. I just want the best one. So nobody's going to want 5 copies of the Saber skin. Like it's just ridiculous. So again, I think there's a miscommunication there, and you probably need to look at that upgrade pack again.
But
hey, take the feedback, C-Day, and do what you want with it.
Yeah. But I'm glad if you've stopped doing an updated new, with a new price Legatus pack, because it was getting beyond the pale. Like I think the latest one for Australia is like 50-something K. If you bought it brand new, it's insane.
Yeah.
So I have a question for Algared.
You buy the base and then you buy the annual add-on packs as you want, and they've done those add-on packs since year dot.
Yeah.
Which I think was a great idea, but when you look at the skins and it doubles the price, or it does make it hard. And there are some people, and in fairness, there's also some people who will want all of that and want everything.
That's what I'm saying.
And
You do both.
And I've said before, when we were first asked, what do you want? And we went everything, and I was thinking, all the ships. And they literally went, okay,
read what he says in chat, though. Well, we had to manually add the items to the pack manually. It's a lot of work. Holy shit. If you had to do that for every single person's account, oh boy. Yeah. That'd be a nightmare.
No, you didn't have to do it manually. There was literally from the year dot, you've had add-on packs.
Yeah, but
you've had add-on packs that you bought in the shop because I've got them.
I think he's saying maybe when they build the pack, though. I think you would know what he's talking about. He does work out of Texas where they do the back end stuff. So
I've got all the add-on packs that they've had.
Yeah, but I think he's talking about how the packs are. I think he's talking about how the packs are built. They've got to manually. If you've got to go through every year and add every. It's a long time. That's a long time.
And I know that there are times when they've done things and they've got to go through a manual. Like if you go through and ask them about and you've got to go back through the log, they've actually got to go through manually and search for log and find stuff. There's no automated thing for that at the moment. It's a nightmare. It's horrid.
I've got to ask C Daddy a favor. There's 2 scythes on Algared's account. He would like to donate one to Execute's account. Just take one off and put it on Execute's account. It'll do us a big favor. Thanks very much. Love you long time.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, lads, I might drop off at this stage. But I appreciate you guys.
We'll raid you in about 20 minutes or 30 minutes.
No worries. Take your time. All right, I'll talk to you soon, guys.
So adding the items individually to pack, it's a nightmare, and I can see that's horrid.
Yep.
But
it's all coded too, so you've got to put in a it's not a just drag and drop.
And I also know a long time ago, like 2014 or 2013 ago, they used to do actual manually adjust people's packs, and that was insane. And I know that's part of why upgrades came in to actually say, you don't need us to do it. You can actually upgrade your ships yourself.
So
that happened to me.
So we've actually reverse engineered a little bit of the nightmare that SIG has to go through when they added the modulars to the Apollo. They had to do it by SKU, and we looked at it, and there were 12 different SKUs for each Apollo. So I can't even imagine the amount of work that they had to do in order to do that. And all I can say is kudos to the back-end team.
Yeah, the people doing that horrible stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a reason why they probably didn't touch up a song.
Star-Jump saying my hanger's now been flagged as audited. Yeah.
Apparently I'm not sexy enough to get a scythe, according to C-Daddy from CIG.
Yeah, I could see
I'll
that.
have to go in for plastic surgery now. He's given me a complex. I need to contact OH&S about sexual harassment, or you got attractiveness harassment. Yeah, being bullied.
You're trying to claim being bullied.
Yeah, being bullied by cyberbullied by C-Daddy. What an ass. That's right. I'll sue him for a site.
Oh man,
I'll get one day. It'll be fun.
C-Daddy, I agree for you. There are 3 of them that do those.
Man, that's a lot of work for 3 people.
Yeah, that is.
Are you gonna? Eventually, are they going to let you build a tool, C-Daddy? You reckon that'll be a thing? They'll because I
need a tool.
They need. No, they don't. It's all been by hand this whole time, and I know that since back in the day when
it was 6 months.
No, not in the last 6 months. I'm talking way back to the beginning when it was Chelsea and that in the QA team. They would tell me how they had to do everything manually and all that all the way back then. It was
they used to go into people's packs individually and adjust them. And they did things to actually make it easier for them. So CCUs originally started so that you could actually adjust. So the owner of packs of those big packs could actually adjust the ships themselves.
I tried to explain to somebody the number of CCUs that are ghost CCUs that exist in the background that are probably in our accounts, but not newer backers. We have CCUs that are just the names are different. What's in them is strange to people. The verbiage is different. Yeah.
It'd be kind of interesting if they did
thing every time.
Customer service only CCU, so they could give you a CCU that would actually let you de-apply a CCU or something like that. That'd be interesting because there's just some things in the background about wondering. It'd be interesting to pick your brain one day, CJ, and just kind of go, what would increase your quality of life? What's your top 5 things that you would kind of want CIG to allow you guys to do just to increase your quality of life? Because I know increasing your quality of life would also relay a lot of burden off customer service and therefore speed up customer service. And I guarantee you, if Algared sent a certain email to a certain someone that is very focused on customer service, you know what I'm talking about, that would bear some weight.
But probably wouldn't.
We'll see. We'll see.
Somebody's busy.
Someone's busy, but maybe in the future. We'll see.
All right. So I want to tell a personal story about CIG's customer service real quick. I'll make it really short. As you guys know, I've done multiple deployments during this game's development, far more than I thought I ever would do. I thought the game would be well done by this point. But one of them is when I think it was the Harbinger and the Sentinel came out, which was separate from the Vanguard. Yep. And I'd asked for I basically had sent an email after I got back home hey, I couldn't buy the ship. I was gone. Can you open it up for me so I could buy it? And they were absolutely. And I never saw it. And I was freaking CIG, what the hell? And then it was just by how I was looking at it. They gave it to me in a certain way where it was a token I couldn't see. and then I could see the ship, and I ended up buying one. And like my one regret is like this last deployment that I was on, which was 2024, 23, 24. There were tons of ships that came out, and I never asked for it. But like, I remember thinking to myself, like, God, I should contact CIG customer service because they've been amazing. And I do have to give them a tip of the hat. Like, thank you for, being flexible, like giving people that are in tough situations, like with proof, because they asked for proof, a little bit of flexibility on like getting ships that, because we all want to back the game, but like when you miss something and you're like me, or Algared or Execute, you feel weird about it. Like you want to get everything, or at least the option to get everything. So thank you.
Sorry. That's meant to say historically. I just can't spell at the moment. Sorry, I misclicked.
Look, I do think that, C-Daddy, you guys need a set of tools. They need to give you guys tools to make your job easier.
He did reply the ship matrix is his biggest woe, basically, and I basically said, well, I could have said, yeah, that's all our biggest woe, but I said, yeah, that's what it's known as, the matrix of lies. But you can understand now, it's not automated. Yeah. He's got to update it every, like, what did he say? Automated ship matrix stats on the matrix. I have to do an audit once or twice a year to try and keep everything up to date. Man, I want that automated because I want that instantly updated. I don't want it once or twice a year. It's going to be out of date in a month.
Well, straight. There have been times it's been out of date within a week, within a day of a ship coming out. You go, oh, it's been updated, and you check the stats of the ship, and you check the ships in game, and you go, yeah, it's out of date.
Canalist
crazy.
3554 says chance CIG will sell in-game LTI at any point. I guess that would fall under insurance. So if that's what you mean by that, yeah, it'll just be insurance. But lifetime LTI, like actually that you can just spend a whole bunch of credit in game and have LTI forever on said ship. It's a really good question. I don't think so.
CIG sell for $25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
LTI to any ship, $25.
Yeah.
On the ship's account, you automatically get it anyway because they're so expensive.
Again, C-Daddy, if you had a simple tool, community would probably take care of that. Like I said way back when. Do you remember when I talked about it? I haven't talked about this in years. Remember when I said you should start building a Q&A site? And I was back in like 2014, 15 when I was talking to Sandy, and I said, because all the questions that come out over the years, you're going to get the same question asked again and again and again. And I said, build a Q&A site and just start stockpiling every single question that's ever been answered. And then you can search if it's been asked before. Plus the community can go there and they can tag it, then go tag a ship and it'll bring up every question or you can tag everything. And I said, let the community run it and you won't have all these double ups. They never ever did. And it's been a forever problem ever since.
And we know that you get those questions time and time and time again because we made a whole series out of the questions that we kept getting asked.
We get asked the same question 3 or 4 times sometimes in a stream, so I can't imagine what it's like for CIG.
But that's why we did Fix My Fleet.
Yeah,
because we'd constantly get the same questions about is this ship good or is this ship bad or is this ship good for my fleet? And the same thing is what we'd say every time, what do you want to do in game?
Why I'm thinking about a Fix My Fleet. Lemming did link one the other week that you need to go look at and see if it's good for us to do. We probably
I did briefly see it, but I was being flapjack with marking and school and reporting.
So I want to actually talk about the Discord for a second. If you need help with your fleet, come on the Discord and ask. We will do our best to help you. And
I think that's probably why we do less Fix My Fleets now too, because there's more people that have learned. And it's very rare to see one come along anymore that really teaches something new. But again, if it is something that will be beneficial for an episode, Lemming or one of the other mods tend to at me and Algared, and then we go have a look at it. But I usually let Algared put out there.
And that's just a matter of trying to work out a time that suits.
It's one of the few things I can delegate to Algared that he can do in other times. So I've just left that to him. So if you don't see a Fix My Fleet episode, he is the man to blame.
Yeah, you can blame
it is all on his. No, I'm just kidding. But it's Algared's domain. So I let Algared take care of that one, and he sets up the times, and I just turn up.
And sometimes it's just doesn't work. We try times. And,
we've had episodes where I get set up the time and I've just stuffed up my sleep and I just don't turn up, and that's completely on me. In that case, so yeah.
And then rejigging the time just starts. So
one thing.
But yeah, we do need to get some more. But anyway,
one thing while we're talking about the Discord is I do have a ship that I was planning to give away during AIE, Lemming. And what I'll probably do is I'll do it similar to how we did the Discord thing. So I'll probably get a Discord link that I'll put in the video description on YouTube. But during AIE, what I'm thinking is I've got a Paladin there. So what we'll do is we'll link it on all the videos, but if you get on the Discord and join the giveaway, and then we'll give it away on the stream after AIE. What do you think about that, Lemming?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking to my wife. I'm sorry.
I feel
less important than
I feel really unlistened to right now. So I was saying I've got a Paladin to give away.
Okay.
Right, and what I was thinking of doing is during AIE, we'll talk about a little bit before AIE, get it set up. But if you go onto the Discord, I'll link it in every video on AIE, and then you can just go onto the Discord and enter it. And then we'll give it away on the stream after AIE. IAE. God damn it, I'm struggling with that. IAE.
Look, everyone knows what you mean when you say IAE.
Yeah, but I'm slightly dyslexic and that's where it comes from. So yeah. Anyway.
Okay. BMC8246 says, will CIG try to live a crew of a Hammerhead with the new update, e.g. slave turrets to manned ones, etc.?
Let's hope so. I think that's its biggest issue is its high crew count. Considering it's got more than the Perseus, it's, you can essentially crew a Polaris with the same crew count. Not perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to see that. I'd also love to see that type of application applied to the Retaliator as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Retaliator is really high crew count. 5 people is astronomically high. But I think you're right. I think it'll be you and I have talked about this: remote turrets or blades or linking them. I'd say 3 people max in that thing personally. That's just where I think you and I went to about that, wasn't it? Last time we talked about it. It's been a bit.
Yep, something like that. Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Marty and Steelston says, sorry if this has already been discussed. Do you think there's any chance that the front remote turrets get slaved to the pilot? What ship are you talking about?
I assume he means Perseus. And I would say hell to the no.
And I would say no.
Yeah, not with the size of those guns. It is clearly a weakness of the ship. It's getting these massive guns for its size. It's got to have the crew to kind of back it. And there was another post made this week about multi-crew. That they are definitely wanting. You want to be in the big ships. You've got to work together to get the benefit of the big ship. That's just the way it goes, and that's the way it should be. If you want, right now we've got people going around in Idris's soloing shit, and Bops gets. I wish Bops was here for this question because Bops gets really aggravated because as soon as he sees an Idris now, when he's in his fighter, he just leaves. There's no point engaging them. It takes literally an hour or so to bring them down, and then they literally reclaim and they're back in the ship in 20 minutes because they can pay the extra money just to get the Idris back. So the turnaround is just not worth it. So until engineering comes in, it's a cart before the horse problem. And I think having the things like the Paladin and the Perseus come in. Right now, we've only really got a Polaris, and the Polaris can't do the solo thing that the Idris can. But by putting a Perseus in, there's something else that can now smash onto an Idris. And I think once engineering comes in, the whole it was just that cart before horse problem. Once engineering in, you won't be seeing people soloing Idris. No. I can guarantee it from what I've seen in the engineering test. And
it's something that we've known that for ages.
Yeah.
So I've seen. I want to say it was Moist Noodle, but it could have been Bob's. But not kill, but pretty much disable a Polaris within probably 3 minutes by just blowing off all the engines and just watching it just float there in space, and then they just leave.
Sorry, I was distracted. I'm distracted by the TV program in the background.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. But keep going. Say what the rest of what you need to say.
Oh no, I was just saying that they just leave it there, and then the person just has to reclaim it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Edward Munnitz, 7717 says, if a Perseus is the principal gunship or gunboat with the massive big guns, what does that mean for the Polaris usefulness?
Polaris was originally sold. They always have like a little tagline, and the tagline for the Polaris was the tip of the spear. And if you think about how a spear works, it essentially thrusts in, strikes, and gets out. And you'd probably be able to correct me if I'm wrong in this, Algared, but the spear, as I remember, it was the most successful weapon in history. It was the most, because essentially it's just a dagger on a stick, right?
It's a big stick.
Yeah.
And you poke, and anyone can be trained to poke.
So you think about that back to the Polaris. You come in, you fire off your torpedoes at your target, and you get out of there. And you punch up, so you can hit an Idris or something like that before it even kind of realizes you're there, and then you're gone.
But the other thing that I think makes the Polaris totally different is the role. It's seen as a kind of a flagship for orgs or planetary defense mobs would use.
They call it
for their patrols.
A military patrol boat. What was the?
Yeah, it's a patrol boat. It
basically there was a word they used, like a militia.
Yep.
That was the word.
What
they call it? A militia what?
It's a militia.
It's a militia HQ boat. It's
something like that. I couldn't remember when they sold it. It had the word militia in it, though. I remember that.
So when it was designed, so as they were building their Corvette, in law they approached the Navy and say, "What do you need on your Corvette?" They also approached planetary militias and groups like the Bremen Defense Force and said, "What do you need?" And so the ship is, I think, ideally the ship suffers from multiple cooks. So it's got all these bits and pieces that multiple groups have said they needed. So it's got the hangar for a fighter, it's got the torpedoes, it's got all these bits and pieces, but it's basically from Australia's point of view, it'd be in a Fuhrer class patrol boat. It's basically for doing patrols around a local area, not for going deep water. Even though it could do that.
And even really back in the early days, a lot of the times when we talked about the ship and the cost of the torpedoes and things like that, we always went, it's like an intimidation tactic in kind of way. Like, you come in and you got 28 torpedoes, they cost a fortune, but if you have to fire them, you're gonna fire them. Because it's cheaper to fire one and kill a ship than lose your entire ship. So that Polaris turns up, and it is an intimidation tactic. You're not going to want to flirt with it at all. And
you don't use, it doesn't cost you on torpedoes if you don't fire them. If you don't need to fire them because the enemy bug you out, then great.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I think that's the big difference between the ship favorite roles and the purpose of the ships.
I think Citizen Ninja has said it perfectly. The Polaris is intended for using just the tip. The Perseus is full penetration.
Well, there you go.
I think you did it perfectly. Well done, Citizen Ninja. And there's the comment of the week. Right, anyway. Right, next one, Algared.
All right. So the next question is Mini Shimukasi. Yeah, Mini. I'll just call you Mini. Do you think that with
Shimakaz. Yeah, man, go ahead.
Do you think that with the hill changes, they may have added more or larger shields? With the
I think he means
hull changes. I think hull changes.
I and you is right next to each other.
Shields.
Yeah, I is right next to you on the keyboard, so I'm assuming it's hull.
Yep. And I'm going to assume he's also talking about Perseus, and yeah, they could have. Well, I think certainly with Perseus, it's got shields, so I think it's added on because it's the early Perseus.
Well, one of the things
shields
you and I went over when we did the deep dive was essentially on the Matrix and stuff like that. Essentially had the components of a Connie, but this thing is almost twice as large as a Connie. So the components just didn't line up anymore. So I'm expecting a whole bunch of changes like when we talked about it back then.
And if you've got to put larger components in, that may also change. That's going to change the size of those bays, which is going to change the size of the ship, which could also make that rumor of it extras 25 meters length true. Just to fit those things in.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
Hey,
yep.
Quick question. So if they introduced, all right, so we don't see variants of like larger ships very often, but what if they did a Perseus that was the classic Perseus with like more smooth armor, only ballistics, the things we know, like no point defense turrets, and then did a more modern version with less armor, shields, and maybe energy weapons?
Absolutely.
Do you think that would be viable?
It's something we've talked about before, because you could put story beats, if you think about it. Like if you put one in universe that you can find and rejig and get it working and stuff like that, and we know that there's going to be people that are going to want to do things like that.
Well, I mean for sale.
Algared and Astro have talked about doing things like that with other ships and finding alien ships and stuff like that.
Oh, look,
before.
Even Disco wants to do that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Find an old junker and fix it up. Find an old ship.
Well, no, what I'm saying with fixing it up is the rebuilding we see
you're
on
talking
the
about
new Perseus.
Look, you're talking about selling it. That doesn't really matter, because if they can make it in game, then they can sell it, right?
Okay.
I'm talking. I'm literally talking about, will they? And yes, most likely they will, because they've. Look, remember the time they talked about the Reclaimer and the Reclaimer crash landing and all the grass glowing over it and it turning into a landing zone and stuff like that? You don't think that they're going to have when you crash your ship and it could literally turn into an entire.
Yeah, I hope so.
You know, like that'd be amazing. Like literally imagine, like I can think of a story where some guy goes out in a ship one day, something happens, he lands on a planet, and he lands and he finds a couple of people that were stranded as well, and they start building, like they start a family and they build out and it becomes a whole town, and then a couple of years later someone else comes to that planet. You can see where it goes.
Trading,
his whole game could be just, all right, I'm going to live on this planet now. Like that could be a thing. Like, and I like, yes, he could call a beacon if he wanted to, or maybe there's something with the interference of that planet, or it could. You never know what your story is going to be. Is all I'm going to say. It could be really, really interesting. Let's see where the game takes you.
It's interesting because I can remember, when we talked to Sandy, and we said, "What are you? Pirate or civilian?" She said pirate. And the reason she was a pirate was because she didn't want to be tied to one system. She wanted to be able to go and see everything. So for her, piracy was freedom, the not being tied to anywhere. Whereas what we're seeing is that idea, that view there was, I'm tied to the system, I'm going to stay in this settlement.
Complete opposite, yeah.
Complete opposite. And I think this game, certainly the idea that Chris has, is that idea. There'll be people who just want to stay in one system. There'll be people who want to go to every system. There'll be people who want to go between 3 or 4 systems, just keep it like that. So there'll be space hobos, there'll be space entrepreneurs, there'll be space pirates.
That's me.
Space, you name it, there'll be it. So, and I think that's the appeal of the game, but it'll appeal to everyone. Or there'll be elements that'll appeal to everyone, if that makes sense. JD Wren 4587 says, "Do you think the turret under the nose will be slaved to the pilot if there is no gunner?" No,
it's a PDC, not a turret. It's a PDC. He's talking about if he's talking about the turret on the bottom, it's right at the back. So the one at the front is the PDC. So no, that's
he's talking about the small turret. So that's what I'm assuming.
Well, if you look in the shot there right below you, Algared, you can see that it's a PDC. Look, literally on a screen right now, you can see the PDC. Yeah. It's a new PDC that's a dual gun. Right, next one.
I did see that one. Then we've got
first question. Clearly, Boozy can't count and is very drunk. His name is Boozy.
No, Boozy's first question was full crew. Like, I think asking about
Bops.
Not Bops challenge.
So 8 people versus Bops, and I just don't see it.
And I think I'd have to go with 8 people.
Yeah. Back in the day, they literally said multiple times, smaller ships just shouldn't be able to compete with the big one. And the really early example they gave was 2 Hornets versus a Connie. 2 Super Hornets versus a Connie should be fairly equal because you got 4 people in each.
And it was, so generally you have a Connie winning 50% of the time and the Hornets winning 50% of the time.
And it's like you have to have a good pilot and a good commander to bring the ship around to get the right angles, but there's no way.
I can tell you right now, I went out a couple of weeks ago now with an org and we were in a full Idris crew. I'm talking like we had like 29 people, I think, on the ship, right? And this thing, every turret was manned, every type of thing. And that doesn't include engineering, by the way. And we also had 2 additional paladins with us that were fully crewed. And we came up against 2 other Idrises and 2 Polarises in the same fight, and we killed all of them. And they weren't fully crewed, or they had a lot of turrets firing, but they weren't fully crewed, and we smashed them. And it showed me that it was the people working together, not the ships.
That makes the ship.
Not the ships.
And that's always been the case.
It's the people, and that's how it should be. Because if you don't work well with someone,
and I think I raised this with you when we were talking about it as well. If you're in an MMO, when does your going on a raid? If you come across an opposing raid, the group that works best together absolutely smashes the other. It doesn't matter if you're outnumbered 2 to 1. If you work well together, you win. And I'm sure Bops would have been able to confirm that just from his battle calling from.
I took one of I don't know if he isn't in chat today, but Darth Zippo. I took him out in a hurricane the other night with Bops, and he fell in love with the ship. And he's talking about buying one at AIE. And
as you do when you take a hurricane out and you use it.
I just thought back to all the times you and I were in and I hadn't been in it in 12 months. But it's just a really, really fun ship. And it's not the best ship. It's just really, really fun. There is something about the teamwork in that ship that is just perfect.
It's the perfect on-point turret ship in the game. It makes the pilot work with the turret gunner.
Exactly.
Yeah, and when you've got 2 people working really well in that ship, it becomes a beast.
Yep.
But without it, it's. But 2 people, it's a thing of beauty. Crusader Maximilian says, contact lenses are starting to dry out. Would you ever be open to viewer debates? I'd love to debate both Bops and yourselves on this.
Was that Max? Was that
Maximilian?
Yeah,
we kind of got him in anyway.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
North Peak, do you think we will ever get an update of the Pioneer on the Pioneer? We got one a couple of years ago. They told us that it changed its form.
Probably at this stage, probably not until we see it, unless they do something in ISC.
Yeah.
And we did see that earlier on in this year when they kind of started stuff on it, didn't they? But I think at this,
when did that come out?
It's not out yet.
The update.
Oh, the update was
the update.
It
was like a year ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Calm down. It was CitizenCon last year.
Yep. When they told us that it changed design and they showed us the latest update of what it's going to look like.
It was amazing.
So yeah, likely the closer it gets to being ready for release, I think you're less likely to see something because they want it to be like a big reveal. And I think you would agree, Algared will probably see it at AIE next year because they did say it was coming after base building.
And I would expect to see an ISC on it. I would expect to see more views on it as it was coming closer. But
yeah, I'm kind of surprised. We might see an ISC on the Perseus after it comes out. That's very typical. But that's kind of what I'm surprised. And let's be honest, we've been very light on ISCs this year, exceptionally light. But I think that points to a lot of work for Squadron. Yeah.
Now, I think Rainer 1982's question is related to the Liberator, or possibly the. Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's what other amenities like bed, med bed, cargo hangar would it need? And I'm not sure what ship he's talking about, but I'm assuming it goes back to the discussion on the Liberator.
You've got to put context in your questions, guys, or we get lost.
Especially because the way we deal with the question, that question was a 120 question, so But it would have been those types of amenities you'd want to see on a ship that was changing its role and purpose, I think. Call me teach. How many of the ships for IA do you think will come out without their component pass, like the ships that were sold during sitcom?
I think a lot of those were squadron flips. I don't believe we're getting any squadron flips, so they should be more component focused.
With the Polaris, teach says again, with the Polaris being the bane of server performance during the entity counts, do you think the Perseus will cause the same or similar problems since they use similar assets?
I think they've been doing a lot of work on the Polaris to improve its performance. Again, I got in the Polaris just yesterday and I had noticed more changes again. So I would think that that'll be just improving as time goes on. And I think the Perseus and the Idris and all that will be no different. They will make changes to them if they are such big
I imagine
issues.
I imagine once they finally get interior culling working as well, I don't know whether it's in yet or not.
That is a big one. I have seen it in some of the tests, but sometimes you get a bug where you're like walking up the ramp and the whole ship looks empty, and then you'll like cross the threshold and it'll pop in. So yeah, you're right though. That will definitely be.
But I think if those things come in, that solves 90% of problems for a ship if you can get interior culling working.
Well, it definitely lowers the entity count because most of the entities will more than likely be on the internal. On the outside, you've really only got the guns and the turrets and the missiles. So yeah.
But I can remember a time when every entity that was in a ship had to be basically put into the server, and that was insane.
You remember when the I think the best example of that is the 890 jump when that first went in, and you had all the glasses and stuff that would fall out of the ship.
Yeah.
And again, if you want that persistence in your own ships when you go in there, like, and you put on all the items in your ship and you want it to feel lived in, every single item will have its own entity. So being able to just like essentially turn that off when you're outside and then turn it back on when you walk in is going to be pivotal. And by the same token, you'd probably want to be able to turn the exterior off a little bit as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
or at least parts of it. Yeah.
If you're in the hangar of an Idris, you don't need to see everything else.
Yeah. You don't you don't need you don't need to see other rooms. You don't need to see the exterior and stuff like that. It's only when, like, say, you open the ramps and stuff like that, or you can see the edge of something. And even then, if you break up the exterior a little bit, which we know that they do, you've probably only got to load a part of the exterior. So it's all just, again, give them time. And as things go along, it's a priority order. Get it working and then optimize it. You know, that was something else I saw in the monthly reports. There was several optimization improvements, like where they'd saved a bit of memory here and a little bit of memory there, and over time that does build up and makes a big gains. Right, next one.
Crykane says, what if the Hermes is not the RSI ship but an Aegis ship?
It is something that came up. Could it be a collab? Could it be an Apollo that's been militarized like the Starfarer? We did, me and Grim did talk about that. The other thing that was really interesting that does lead a lot of credence to what you've just said was when it first turned up in the files back in around March, April, it was listed as the Aegis Hermes, not the RSI Hermes.
Indeed. And he actually, to be fair to Crykane, he did actually lift that line. So item description, Aegis thruster fixed Hermes equals Hermes.
That was the
Aegis
line.
Hermes fixed thruster.
Yeah, that was the line I was trying to find when we actually did the Hermes episode, but yeah, that is the line that we were looking for. So yeah.
So, you know, possible. It could also be when it first came out, it was going to be a Hermes, an Aegis ship, and they changed the manufacturer because it was in development. Things can happen.
That to me, that is the most plausible thing. To be honest, that somehow it is still the Aegis Hermes, not the RSI Hermes. But again, they've also found things in the files that say RSI Hermes. So
your guess is as good as ours.
Could be
6 meters of rope.
It could be, you know, what would be the ultimate troll? The ultimate troll.
Yeah, the two ships with the same
name.
Is to
hide the fact that it's the Aegis Hermes. You call it in the code RSI Hermes, and they think it's an Apollo.
But it's actually a new,
Yeah.
Look,
It could be kind of cool, but like we'll just have to wait and see how it shakes out. But again, it's something I keep going back to CableX. So yeah, you're in the same train of thought as me. Like again, it's the last big mystery we've got for AIE, and I don't run myself ragged in circles like I used to. Like Algared will tell you, I used to get really fixated and dive really, really deep into this stuff. And now I try to get to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm about happy here. I can see most of what's coming.
He now gets to the point where he says, I'm now delving into
the weeds,
tin hat speculation stuff.
And so I kind
of he also says into the weeds, and let's just leave it, because that's you can kind of get a certain amount, and then it's just rampant speculation of what I hope and what I dream.
Yeah, so I try to limit myself now as much as I can, because look, while I enjoy it, your brain will just take you weird places, and it becomes a lack of evidence, right? Yeah, and it's always cool. Like Grim and I do like going into those deep and weird wacky things, and we will do that in the background, and we'll just say, "Oh, wouldn't this be cool? Wouldn't that be cool?" But it gets a bit deep sometimes.
And it is something that I think we all enjoy. Like one of the things we often say, like I think I think our working title for even this was Talking Ship.
Yep.
Because
it still is. They're all listed in a playlist called Talking Ship, these streams. Yeah.
Because you can take that and change the last consonant, and you get the other line that people would say we do. But yeah. Offset Studio says, since Origin doesn't have much to show off this IA, do you reckon we might get a sneak peek of a 600i rework, or maybe progress of a G12? I'm going to say no, because it's not priority.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Shady Phase and 9928 says, do you think the Aurora update will be ready on RSI Day? Nope.
Aurora. Yeah, like I know they were working on it, but they are dealing with some of the oldest art assets in the game too. So it's not something I really want them to rush. But again, if they talk about it as an update coming and it's ready, cool. It's not really a priority for me, but it sounds like it might be for you. So I don't know.
For me, I think it's not a priority. It's
you and I.
It's got to be done, but it's not a priority. So
you and I usually don't rush things though, because the longer they take, the better they are. So I'd let them take as long as they want. The longer they take, the better it'll be. So yeah.
Indeed. The print of the Aurora is inside the Ironclad, right? Yep. Correct.
Yep.
That's an insult. Says, have you discussed Cryopods mission in Nyx yet? The Cryopods mission in Nyx.
Again, I wouldn't.
No, we hadn't.
I wouldn't rule that out being a thing for bounty hunting, because again, bounty hunting and a few other things were on the roadmap a couple of years ago, and they just stopped because engineering stopped.
Yep.
And so I would expect in very quick succession, when a few things come in, bounty hunting is clearly there waiting in the wings. And I think hacking was the other one that was around about the same time they showed that off on ISCs. So data running, scanning, hacking are very intricately linked. You kind of need data running before you can do scanning, because you need a way to send the information, and then I think after scanning you'd probably then get hacking, and that's just the example of those three. The bounty hunting, again, it needs the pod thing, and that's just, isn't that essentially delivering a cargo box, Algared? Floats?
And the cryopods were where you put your prisoners when you bounty hunted them. So,
and that's on the capital points of stations, so it's all kind of there ready to go, just waiting.
CableX says, why did CIG show us a white box 600 600 rework, then just stop? They told us to stop asking about it. If I had said, yeah, it's working on it, because they're not working on it at the moment. There are other priorities, so it stopped.
Money. That's what it's for. They wanted to sell more. They were worried that people weren't going to buy them, because there was a lot of, like, not just us, but there was a lot of other people saying how shit it was, and they wanted to sell more. So they do a rework, and then you'll keep buying them, showing you how it's going to improve. And that's exactly what happened.
And
as
people
soon as
then hang on to it.
Yep. And they don't melt it, and that type of thing. And
then they buy another ship.
That's why
it's Pokemon syndrome.
That's why we talked about things like I suggested the Reclaimer as one that they could do on Aegis Day this year, because again, a lot of people looking at the reclaimer and going, oh shit, this just doesn't work properly. And I've seen people talking about melting it. But again, if you announce a rework, those people won't melt it. They'll hold on to it. And then you'll probably even sell more. It's just a sales tactic.
But the other thing is, in terms of, they don't say we're working on it, but we've got other priorities. It will be worked on, but there are other priorities. So doing that work, showing the white box of a rework while saying, yeah, we're working on it. It's in the backlog. It's stuff we're going to do, but it's not a priority, and that's why it's not worked on. So
you and I said when we first saw that too, like it was like the banner mesh man that had been reconcepted 2 or 3 times, and as soon as you and I saw it, went, oh, that'll be years away. That's the first thing we said. We just knew from previous experience. It was to essentially shut people up in a way, you know. And
it was nice to see that they're fixing some of the errors or some of the problems that it's got, but it certainly was never going to be a quick done.
It's not a priority. It's in the game. It's working. It's just showing you this is not a priority, but this is what will be at the end when we actually get back to doing it. And I think you and I basically agreed that it won't be until we see another Origin ship come along that it'll probably start to get, you know, because it'll be a great onboarding task. Hey, we're going to get you to work on the 700, 500, whatever the number is ship. And
let's see what you can do with this first.
Yeah. So go back here and work on the 600. Fix this shit up and prove to us you can do what you need to do, and we'll let you work on this.
But then the other thing is, by getting someone to do a 600i rework as an onboarding task, you actually immerse that person in the style guide of the 600 of Origin. And so when they go to work on another Origin ship, they go, hey, yeah, that's one. Oh, yeah. Boom, boom, boom. So there's a logic there, but it's not a priority. Champion of a Grail says, this may have been asked earlier in the show, but if you zoom in on the Perseus main guns, do you see, yes, we did see the other barrels around the ballistic cannon. The coaxial guns. Exodoza says, what is the likelihood of a Clipper can transport vehicles similar to an Asgard? No.
Probably not likely because of the vertical landing. Very unlikely. And I even have cargo as a doubt because of the verticalness of it. It's the verticalness that a lot of things in doubt.
This question is really, the answer is really how long is a piece of string? Because Symbols just says, how do you guys think they will rework the Nautilus?
So that's actually Asian letters and typography. I think it's either Japanese. It'll either be, I can't quite make out. I think it's Japanese, but don't quote me on that, right? So that's why we can't read it. But yeah, it's about this long.
We honestly can't answer
this
that.
Long or this
we
long?
Just know,
about that long? I'm thinking about this long. Because that's essentially what you've asked, right? We can't answer it because again, it's priority. You can put mines in the game, and you get a lot of the stuff the Nautilus already gives you. It's not until you actually
see it have. Things I'd like to see it have is the same size gun as the Perseus on its turret, because that's the kind of size of ship it is. Larger drones, not larger mines, but who knows?
To give you a more detailed answer, the 2 things that I'd be looking for is them working on larger Aegis ships, right, around that time, and we did ask Ben and John about this, larger mine ships. So a ship that instead of dropping fighter size mines, what about large or capital size mines, right? And we did say that. They said there is a potential there to do larger ships that deploy mines, right? So that's the thing. I'd either be looking at the gameplay or Aegis as a manufacturer as a sign that you may get Nautilus work coming. All right. So same person again
said, Algared, why do you have 3 javelins? Is it just to support the game? We talk about fleets a lot. Isn't that redundant? Yes, it is. The reason I have the first javelin was literally I purchased that one because it was the $100 million ship across the $100 million mark, and I figured such an auspicious amount, such a massive amount that no game would ever need more than, needs to be crossed with more than a ship skin. And so I picked that one up. Actually, no, the first one was when it first came out.
In the pack.
And I said to my org, hey, if I can get one, would it be great? And they said, yep. And so I managed to get one in the last wave of the first sale. and that was great for the org. That was going to give us all our reasons of why we did all the org missions. The second one was that $100 million mark. And the third one was in the Legatus pack when I upgraded, and the intent was I'd melt one of the other ones and only have two.
And that's the one
melt two,
and that's the one he
only
forgot
have
about.
one, and
That's the one he forgot about.
So,
like it was under the bed.
yeah, it was literally buried in the pack.
Real quick, Zor on Twitch says, IE Expo Hall in Horizon will be enabled tonight's build for testing over the weekend. So assuming that's a quote from a developer because he's put it in quotes. And 4.40 PTU is now available for download on the RSI launcher in the PT channel.
So that is
so if you want to go out and go have a look at Horizon, but remember, all the new ships will be turned off because that's what they do. So, or you'll be able to see, well, at least we'll see how many ships are coming. Yeah. That'll be a plus. So I'll probably jump in there after this.
The very short answer to that question about my javelins is yes, to support the game. First one was for the org, and the others were to support the game. North Peak, do you think they will add in-game ship registry systems with ship names on the hull? And yes, they intend to do that at some point. And FOF system with it.
Yep.
Then there's Technotic. DJ says, do you think the Perseus ended up getting med bay? Also, does it look like it grew in length? No, it doesn't have a med bay.
May have grown in length just from things we're hearing, but wait and see. No, it doesn't. It doesn't need a medical bay. It just doesn't need one. It's one of those things where someone comes out and says, this ship needs this, and everyone else thinks it needs it as well, because then it makes it an everything ship.
Yeah.
It doesn't need it. It's mainly a defensive ship, so it's going to mainly be near bases anyway, or home. Not really going to be designed to go out very far. It's designed to be defensive, so you don't need it. And right, well, the Hammerhead doesn't have one. By that analogy, why doesn't the Hammerhead have one? What you know, like the only reason the Carrack has one is it's going really far out on its own, which is also why it's got the repair stuff. It just doesn't need one. It's not big enough.
Indeed. Bronx. Gaming says,
Algared. Put a nurser in it.
Yep. Put a nurser in it.
Problem solved. Right. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yep. Bronx Gaming 4381 says, you think the Pioneer will still be our concept price, or has it been, or as it hasn't been released yet?
Didn't go up last year. No reason to think it would have been any different from last year at this point. I think you'd agree with that, Algared?
Yeah, but I'm always, my view is always expect the ship to go up. If it's been in concept, always expect it to go up. The closer it's coming to release of a game, the closer ships are getting to being done.
I would say that is less likely than more likely, though. But yeah, don't be surprised when it does. But I would say like the likelihood, if we were betting Algared, I think you would agree it's not going to go up.
I wouldn't bet on it not going up, or going up. But if you take the view that it will go up, then it doesn't surprise you when it does. Call Me Teach says, how does everyone think about the Idris getting added to Wicklow?
Grim did talk about that. He said apparently there was an Idris skin coming for Wicklow in 4.4. I really wish that there was, because we're going to be getting the new Aegis exterior on Aegis Day. One can hope. That would be cool in both counts. It just kind of makes sense to me. It gives Orgs another ship to work towards that's not a Polaris.
It's another currency to test.
It's a really good thing that they can get Orgs to test on. That's what, if you haven't figured out what Wicklow is, by the way, he is the thing that motivates you to test the shit they needed tested. Because they can't use Alpha UEC, you have to use the current currency they've chosen to use. And you'll notice every patch is a different form of currency. So they're just changing the currency to make you test what they want tested. That's what Wicklow is. He's the tester. And that's what he's for. So they'll give you a skin, a unique looking Idris, and you'll go out of your way to test whatever they want tested.
Yep. And fine. Symbol says, will the Hammerhead get PDC? I don't believe so. If they outgunned it, maybe. But
I'll be
I wouldn't
honest,
expect so at the moment.
I don't think it needs PDCs because that's essentially what the turrets are.
Yeah, and that's why I don't see it getting it.
And the only thing that I'd have to sit here and have a real think about it, right? But it's an anti-fighter screener. You'd almost want an anti-capital PDC on that thing, like the inverse. And I just can't. That's a torpedo, right? And these can take down torpedoes, so there's just no reason for it to have one.
Yeah, because it's got turrets for anti-fighter. That's what PDCs are for, anti-fighter. So no, you don't need it.
And
if you upgunned it to make it size 5s or size 6,
then maybe
then maybe. But then wouldn't it be better just to make it 2 smaller guns and 2 larger guns, so it could still function as anti-fighter? And
Grim's saying you could see the Hammerhead rocking some Pepperbox PDCs. Yeah, they're more tailored at the missiles and torps.
Yeah, and that would be it. And the Pepperbox ones do have an advantage in that they're limited ammo, so the limited amount that you'd be able to use. So that could be quite useful for that balance.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, PDCs are for torpedoes or small fighters, so no.
Yeah.
I don't really see it because, again, the turrets can just do that anyway. What Algared said about if you did upgrade the guns like the kit that I talked about earlier, that's the only exception I could give you. And then I think that'd have to be a cost there. Like maybe you lose one of the turrets, but then it lowers the crew count. So, maybe like say the top and the bottom turrets got replaced. That would be kind of cool. And a lowered crew count.
If I was upping guns, I could, make it capital. I could put smaller guns on the turrets and make them still keep the crew count, but have it have a lesser anti-fighter role.
That would be really cool. What Sandy just said, flak guns on a Hammerhead, but I think would be amazing. Yeah. So you put different weapons on it, and it's flak cannons, so it really is an anti-air screen. That'd be mad. And just imagine all the clouds, like just the smoke clouds.
The clouds are.
Yeah. Oh, and there's got to be a gun that does that though.
Yeah, that's what I used to like about. Which one? I think the was it the Saber when you had the guns on side. I used to love that, the old Star Wars. Yeah.
Dakka.
We need more of that. The symbol.
Go ahead.
You were going to say something?
No, I was just going to read it. You go ahead.
Okay. The symbol said engineering should have gone hand in hand with NPCs, right? No. I'd be interested to know why engineering needed to go hand in hand with NPCs. I assume they're thinking in terms of large ships with players, and players who want to take solo need NPCs on the ship to do it. But
he doesn't want to do engineering.
No, he doesn't want to do engineering. That's what that tells me. Yeah.
Right. You need players,
which is fine.
Next one, Algared. Rapid fire.
Next one is Zyzer says, what do you guys think they've done with the components? Lately, redundancy is key. Smaller multiple components, or stick to what is listed in the concept?
It was just kind of interesting how ships break in engineering, and I think people are going to see it just this. And I said in last week when we talked about engineering, like back in the day, you'd blow off the wing off a ship and the way it would turn to one side. It's like that, but a whole nother level ahead, because you could shoot the gravity generator and everything starts floating. You can take out the cooler, and if it's not managed very quickly, the whole ship can catch on fire, stuff like that. So it's just taking it to another level where up until this point we've just had the using and the combat of ships, so to speak, on one side. Now you've got the maintenance and the repair and keeping it alive so this people can do their job. And I know SA and other military people I've talked to, I think you said, was it like 1 in 6 or something? So for every person that sees combat, there's like 5 or 6 people behind them with the logistics.
No, it's for every one person that is in combat, like there are 5 people behind him. It's the opposite.
No, 5, not
no,
6.
That's what I meant. I meant 5, but
okay,
that's what I mean. Well, we're just talking about the number, but what I meant is there was 5 people to get them there. Is what I meant.
Yeah, support is the. So like, what is it? The old saying? It's like,
an army runs on its stomach, or whatever it's called.
No, soldiers win battles, like logistics win wars.
Oh, something like that. Yeah, okay, right.
behind every good man is a woman, you know, that type of thing. The idea of being supported, being helped.
And what's wrong with me and you then?
No, freaking.
Don't open that can
Well,
of worms.
there's a lot.
There you go. See? I said don't open that can of worms. What did you do? See?
It's like, all right, so about another 5 hours of streaming. Here we go.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Next one,
Nutsy 42 says on the bottom, so the one on the bottom nose is a PDC. Is the one on the top a PDC as well? They look identical to me.
Yeah, there's one on the top at the back and there's one at the bottom at the front. They've also added 2 single PDCs to the front, kind of either side of the turret that went there in the concept.
So
what
that
do you
is
guys think of those, by the way?
Sorry.
2 swarm PDCs by the look of it.
Yep.
I mean, what do you think of them, though? I don't think they were necessary, but like, what do you think? I mean, there's a lot of firepower, at least ballistic firepower, added to the ship.
I think when they were testing it, they decided it wasn't operating it the way they expected it to, and they've added it for balance.
Yeah, it got its ass kicked. Like, I mean, to me, this is like give it a hammerhead as screen.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if they overreacted in the design. That's my question, I guess, really at the base of it.
Look, if they have overreacted, the top turret and the bottom turret will be managed, or you won't have enough power to do everything you expected to be able to do. So things will get balanced, and it'll work the way they intended it to go with the the level they intended. It's just a matter of let them do their work.
You can't see what
I don't agree.
Did you see what I was looking at? That's real.
I did.
It's crazy. Right, next question, Algared.
Yep. And our last question today is from Donnie. And Donnie says, how large a download is 4.4 patch?
I think it was a couple of gig. But again, it's not too big. I'd have to remember. Yep. Have you downloaded it yet, Evan? I don't remember that. Like, my net's so fast now, it's just like, man, I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. It was done in like 10 minutes.
I would say like
this long, this big. It was this big. Yeah. How big do you reckon it was? It was about this big. Right?
Yeah, about that big.
Yeah, about that big. Right. So,
yeah, like imagine like X's ego. There you go. That's how big it is.
Yep. Piss off. I don't know that big of an ego.
Harsh, but fair.
Oh, harsh, but fair. Right. Okay, so we're going to be raiding Nonstop Bops. He's going for partner. He only needs to make another couple of pushes. So go over there and spend some time with him and a follow if you can do it. And let's see if we can get him to partnered. So that's what he's trying to do this month. So yeah, but they always have a good fun over there. They're always up for a laugh, a lot like here. It's why we bring him on so much as well. He's an Aussie like ourselves as well. So yeah,
which makes timing really great. We can say, hey Bob, do you want to join us? And pretty much it's I'm free.
Okay, so Sandy said it's about 5 gigabyte. So there you go.
There you go.
It's about 5
Thank
gigabyte.
you, Sandy.
Yep. If you want to troll Bobs and we'll be watching, ask him why there is too many medium fighters, because he always thinks there's not enough, and he's kind of right. But just say, why is there too many medium fighters, and he'll go.
Yep. Or why a single fighter will not defeat a fully manned Perseus.
Yeah, you're going down, bitch.
All
Perseus going to win.
So, yep.
Quick thing, like let these guys know, is this time that you're watching this stream, does it work for you? I know they've already asked this question.
No, we didn't.
But like,
we didn't ask it. We've been trying different times, and we're just collecting data to see what's better for you guys and stuff like that. So, we're trying a different time.
Like, let them know. Let them know. Like,
in the comments below.
Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, just let them know in the comments below.
It's late for me, but like, I like it. But like, that doesn't mean it works for everyone.
Yeah. So yeah, let us know.
It definitely doesn't work for Europe.
No, they're well asleep. They've been asleep for nigh on probably 6 hours at this point.
Yeah. So let us know what you think. We really do want to know. That's one of the reasons we've been mucking around with times lately.
Yeah. So just to
see which time is better for the community. Really.
That's it. All right. So we're getting the raid set up there. Want to bet? Oh, Piss Poor Peter's still awake. Holy shit. What time is it, Pete?
Holy moly.
What time is it, Pete? No, but Peter's a night owl. He's
crazy as fuck time.
Yeah.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Yeah. Well,
Pete, You're a
You
legend.
should go on with Pete one time. I reckon that'll be a funny affair.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
one
and
of these
Pete and
days. But
440,
Pete
he said.
just seems to think that I don't like him.
I wonder why.
He's intimidated. He's intimidated, my opinion.
It's your good looks, Algared. He just can't look at you, and he just gets offended.
I know.
Yeah. What's that line you always say? God only made so many perfect heads.
Yep.
Yeah, something like
Yep.
that.
The rest you put hair on.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Indeed.
All right.
I think he's just. I don't know why.
All right.
I don't know why.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
Wait, you've never heard that one before?
Yeah.
Seriously?
No, that's amazing.
Man, I say it all the time.
Yeah, he does. He says it quite a bit. All right, then. Say out of Bops for us. Remember, give him some shit about medium fighters and the Perseus. And we'll be watching. We'll watch for a couple of minutes.
Indeed.
So let us know. All right, have a good week, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
We will. Take care. Bye.
And they're gone. All right, let's have a listen in.
That like the study of like when I was doing my archaeology degree, I wasn't looking at like pre-human stuff. I was looking at human, like modern human and onwards, not pre-human. So, hang on, hold the phone. What in the world? Who the hell the hell the hey?
Just rated with 56 cuties.
Is that the best Star Citizen channel on YouTube, right? On YouTube and Twitch?
I'm gonna get humble again.
Unbelievable. So many medium fighters. There are not enough medium
I
fighters.
told you.
Fight Chaos on. What are you talking about?
Yep.
Get him out of here. Ban him. Ban him all. Sandy as well.
Shucks. Golly gosh. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey guys. Hey Inforunners, thank you for the raid, guys. I know all of my guys are already following Inforunners, but if you're not, get over there and follow them. I was on there this morning yapping as I always am. Hi guys, if you're new here and you don't know me, my name is Bops. I say controversial things about the PvP community. I make PvPers and non-PvPers.
Oh, the worst part is he's a ginger.
Yeah.
I do a lot of trading here to get people who
You can't have it all, can you? You can't have an archaeology degree, a history degree.
I have two ginger kids, so I say this.
Yeah, they hold him back somehow. Like you know.
Yeah.
Like,
Want to step into the PvP world? Then you come train with me 1v1.
Yeah.
And we have a bit of fun and see where we can get you. But besides that,
There are only so many degrees you can have.
I play with a pretty large group. I start my
At least I know my ginger kids have a future as streamers. I'm proud.
Monotremes. Welcome on into the Monotreme chat. But we do all sorts of stuff here, so I hope you'll enjoy yourself while you're here. We're also giving away a Perseus. If you want to be involved with the Perseus giveaway, you
don't forget that.
follow and write !enter giveaway in chat. I'll say that again. We're giving away a Perseus. So make sure you get involved with it.
Because it sucks.
all right. Well, with that, then, yeah, maybe if you're on YouTube, jump over onto Twitch after this and at least
and give him a hand.
follow and get in the giveaway for a Perseus, because all you have to do is be a follower and you can be in the chance to win.
Yep.
The more you watch it, the more tickets you get, though. All right, then. Well, thank you for joining us, Esso. It was a pleasure having you.
It was.
Sharing your insight with us.
You're welcome to
anything you want to add?
hang out anytime.
Yeah, anything you want to add before you... Nico?
No, just... no. Love you guys. Have a great night. And yeah, go watch Bop and just enjoy your gaming experience. We talk serious, but it's a game.
Oh,
enjoy it.
Did you open Steam, by the way?
No.
Open Steam for
you
me.
Send me a message, though.
Yeah, open Steam.
You got...
And I'll talk to you about it as soon as we get off air here. But yeah, open Steam.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, with that, Algared, anything you want to add?
Nope. It's been a pleasure, as usual.
We'll probably do something more along the lines of going into some of the ships again this week. I think with AIE around the corner, we'll probably go over some of the things. We'll have to do that tomorrow and record it, or we'll figure something out for this week's show anyway. So yeah.
Indeed.
All right, with that then, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and thank you to everyone that went the extra mile on Patreon at the end of the video.
Humbling. It always humbles us, but we are ever grateful.
With that then, he's been Old Man Hurst himself, Algared.
And that's been Execute, and we're out of here. Take care.
See you, citizens. Say goodbye, SA, and don't say goodbye, SA.
Say goodbye, SA.
Oh my God.
You know you asked him for it.
I did, but then I tried to cover it, and then he covered it.
Yeah, but that was kind of like double downing.
Yeah.
Say goodbye, SA.
Asshole. How about say that? Say goodbye, you're an asshole.